All right. Hey, everybody. My name's Todd. We're back here. We're playing some Shadowrun. This is a futuristic cyberpunk meets Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know. We'll get everybody else to describe it. This is going to be run by my buddy Steve. Let's go take a look at the table. Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
And welcome to the dystopian future where we're all desperate to try to do things for survival and money. Also, we're going to play a role-playing game.
Right, well, let's get into whatever the heck we're getting into. It's like, where do you go after last time? Well, generally forward.
There's nowhere else to go but down.
We're live down. So our characters, our Shadowrunners, had a nice kind of introductory experience getting into what it really means to Shadowrun on a just below the surface, let's say. Whereas most Shadowruns, one shot, you're just kind of scratching the surface. So I think we got down a layer here, just a little bit. And they got involved in hired by a mafia family to find a stolen crate of cyberware, stolen sea can of cyberware. Through some interesting experiences of detective work and a little bit of help and a little bit of luck and some amazing hacking, they managed to discover that the crate, that the cyberware had been stolen by the Los Bros brothers biker gang, hidden inside what has now been trademarked as the Invisicrate. The Shadowrunners tracked it down, did away with the Los Bros brothers, and eventually did deliver the crate to the mafioso that had hired them. But in the process of all of that, they discovered some things. They discovered that the cyberware was originally stolen from Central America by the mafia family themselves. And it was stolen from them at the dock. And then they were hired by this mafia family to go find it. So they also discovered through all of that
the true meaning of Christmas.
The true meaning of Christmas, yeah.
The true meaning of Christmas is New Yen.
New Yen. So they also discovered that up at the top
that was New Year's.
The piano family, there's a bit of drama going on, a bit of intrigue, where potentially
it's just mean girls with Italian accents.
Yeah, pretty much. So the runners kind of decided at that time they weren't necessarily ready to get involved in high-level mafia politics, but let's see where it goes from there. So Bliss is currently nowhere to be found. She did leave a message for you as a group to say she had some things to do, had some people to talk to. And that's what she says within a couple of days of you guys dropping off the crate, getting paid, and deciding to take a break and do your own thing for a little bit. People had money to spend, people had learning to do. She says, I gotta go take care of some things. Over the next couple of months, she sends some cryptic messages here and there about conversations she's having. She did mention that there was a Yakuza contact that she had known for a long time and talked to. You guys heard her talk to this person kind of on the last day when you had that crate just before you turned it over. She mentions that that there are some things going on up high with our former or most recent employers that could create situations where there's profit to be made by us. And that's kind of about the gist of what you get from her, but you haven't heard from her in a little while. It's been probably a couple of months since the last time anyone heard from her.
Which is rather strange because she and I usually kept in touch.
Yeah. But, you know, if something happened to her, you know she'd let you know. So, that's an update from Bliss. Let's move around the table, reintroduce your characters, give us a little brief, just a taste of what your characters have been doing in the past, let's say 4 months it's going to be since we saw them last. And then we'll get into a little bit more of, after we have that brief introduction, we'll get into a little bit more of what the characters have done. So we'll start with Darcy. What has Radio been up to?
Hey, I'm Darcy. Found me Twitch.tv says Darcy Bits. Gotta get that plug in there. Radio, the character, she's irradiated and loving it. It's great. Except for when it's not.
Living your best Glow City life.
That's right. So she still, like, you know, puts out feelers for things. There's ways for fixers to get in contact with her. But if she's not getting, like, proper Shadowrun work, what she's off doing is really exploring, like, how do you put that? I always picture, you know, Glow City is a mess, and lots of cool stuff just still exists down in, like, maybe stuff is collapsed and it's subterranean now. Maybe there's, like, a cool irradiated lake that you really shouldn't swim in, and she does anyway. But there's, like, so she's really a treasure hunter on her own time, and just exploring and mapping out these areas that people dare not go.
Awesome. Yeah. So that's what I want from everyone is don't tell me what you've done with your character sheet. Tell me what your character's been doing. Phil, what has Gerald been up to?
You know, the old Gerald. So
taking naps.
They're very important for cognitive
Is he
development.
dead? Somebody poke him.
yeah.
I mean, I don't think that I've seen him for months, so I'm
This is a
not in a position
play-by-play.
to wake him up.
Yeah. Lunch. Gerald comes too.
He's out again.
He's been sitting on his front porch shooting at squirrels and telling teenagers to F off.
I'm surprised he hasn't been doing New Rat.
Well, I mean, you asked what he was doing, not what's happened to his character sheet.
No, that's
Okay.
sleeping
fair.
instead of
All right.
building a new rat, you know.
All right. Well, with that,
For those
Donnie,
who've never heard, he's a rigger.
what has Kat been up to for the last number of months?
Well, I think before Bliss took off, she did hook me up with somebody in the Chinese group to help teach me to speak Chinese.
I thought you were going to say to dance.
Oh, no.
Kind of hoping.
Cat doesn't dance. I dance with the devil.
In the pale moon.
The pale moonlight.
Yeah.
Oh, it's moonlight, whether it's pale or not. I don't care. And learning this Chinese is actually taking a toll on her because it's harder than she expected.
That's fair.
Okay.
Can't understand a damn word of it still.
Great. Time well spent.
Yeah. Any socializing on her part?
I actually gave it a new nickname, though. It's not Chinese, it's Japanese.
Oh no. Those are two different. Cat, you've loaded the wrong skill soft.
Japanese.
You've loaded the wrong. No. Bliss. We need
No
Bliss.
wonder I'm having a hard time learning it.
No wonder you're having a hard time communicating with all the Chinese people.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's a cross between Chinese and Japanese, I think. You know.
Well,
Nobody knows what the hell I'm saying.
I would like to disavow this
Never
entire. Anyway, we'll keep going.
so Todd, what's Mac been up to for a few months?
Okay, so he I'm trying to decide if I'm going to dive big into this, and you know what? This isn't the character sheet, but I did want to say, Steve, you requested that we go ahead and try something a little different, something that isn't us. So I'm going to try this, and it's a pretty drastic change. So Mac has been, for the most part, getting sober and falling off the wagon and then getting back to sober. And in the midst of all of this, in the fever dream, visited by Raven, and goes on the worst trip, like takes the worst drugs, and falls deep into this trip, and basically flatlines, almost dies, and then comes out of it with a new resolve and a new connection. Just gets pulled out of that by their mentor spirit, and when he comes back, he is changed. He's had a pretty big experience. So two things have happened. Number one, he's kicked it back and forth between addicted and dry addict. So he's back to dry addict. So there's been no real change. But the other change is he's had a bit of an enlightenment and a slight change of personality, and he is initiated, and so he's able to do things he couldn't do before. But you said you wanted this as that. The other thing is, getting sober has made him cranky as f***. And so he's tapped into a whole new thing.
Gerald's rubbing off on him.
And the other thing is his voice. I've been working on trying to find a different voice for him. So I'm probably gonna fuck this up, but I have a feeling he's gonna be something like this.
That's quite the pivot.
You've been watching The Boys.
I actually haven't, but I decided I wanted somebody
Mr. Shuckajee.
who's tired of running from the pain, and he's just gonna dive right the fuck in and cause a little.
You've created the Butcher.
I've never seen that, so I'm sorry in advance if I'm breaking copyright. And eventually I'll figure it out. Most of the time, I just felt like doing a voice. Alright, we'll figure it out as we go, and I'd apologise. And if you've got a problem with it, you can shove it up your ass. Sit and spin,
Like a
mate.
different person. Okay.
I think he was originally that, but like playing the corporate game and then
Sure.
came out
Yeah.
of it.
I
But
don't
I-
think sometime
I wanted
across the
more, but-
like.
Does he
time
go by
off.
Cam now?
I have a feeling he was originally that, and then toned it down to get the job. Lost his arm, got bitter, into drugs, all that. So I think that's what happened.
So his like deep-rooted base personality is just starting to finally resurface. Like he's just essentially dropped his mask, put away some of his self-created personal filters, and here he is,
Exactly.
back to being his true self.
And it
I
might
have
be
this
a little
feeling
bit ugly.
that like
I love
Like-
the accent. I think it's.
I think radio like clicked with Mac during the like missions and was like actually like Ted sent out like, hey, do you want to like, if you're willing to brave it, do you want to like go down to Glow City, check out the lake, and it sounds like
What the fuck?
either
I'm
that
gonna
did
get
not
cancer.
happen or like radio called you after you've had this like epitome and was like, I think I have the wrong number. It's like,
No,
no.
no. It's me. All right. Look, it's me. I can do the horrible give up your life voice. That's fine. I can put on the American accent. I just get just getting tired of it. So that's what it's gonna be. I'm gonna give it a shot.
All right, I guess.
Show me
It's
round.
Something to get used to.
If I grow another head, you'll chop it off, right?
Yeah, I can do that for you.
Great.
Is he wearing a flat cap with razors sewn into the peak? By any
He is
chance?
now. I have that somewhere.
Good old Peaky Blinders. So radio. Let's get in touch with radio. A couple of weeks after the previous time we've seen her, what has radio decided she's gonna do to better herself, or what's her focus now? She's got karma to spend. She's got money to spend.
Yeah. So first thing that she wanted to do was to trick out her helmet. She realized that there's like space for like vision mods, and she wished she had them last time, so she does that. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's mostly just doing what she's doing, and
Did she do that herself? Is she able to affect those upgrades herself, or would she go to
she would go like,
tech?
get them installed by someone, pay someone, they install them, I don't know if there's more I need to know about that, then sure. I don't think I got anything that was high availability.
No, but okay, so you start looking around, you start thinking about that. Radio starts thinking about it. It's like, man, I need to get, okay, well, I bought the helmet from, a guy named Terrence, and
Sure.
it seemed like he was friendly enough.
Basically, like drone sensor modifications. Like that's
Yeah. So
Gerald could totally do that.
yeah, I don't know. Is Gerald in touch with radio? Anything else in touch? Yeah, and you think, well, okay, so I could go to Terrence, or I could, Gerald seemed to like make stuff out of nothing. How would radio even consider that?
I don't think so. What she saw was some gears shoved into a rat, and I don't think she wants that up on her head.
Yeah, so she considers that and goes, well, my chances of becoming the rat aren't that minimal, so I'm gonna.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So she gives Terrence a call.
Ring ring.
Hey, Terrence's fine warrior weapons and armor emporium. How can I help you?
Hey, Terrence. Assuming you're Terrence. Sometimes, shops are like a name. Never mind. I'm trying to get some, just basic upgrades for helmet mods, heads-up display, thermographics, that sort of thing.
Yeah, we got that in stock. Why don't
Yeah,
you...
pretty standard stuff. Nothing I need to like special order. I don't think. Unless I could be way out of my line. I don't know.
Why don't you pop down, bring the piece with you, and we'll talk about what we want to put in it, and I'll tell you how long I'm gonna need it for.
Yeah, totally. That sounds great.
Okay, skip ahead. You're down there. He has a legit shop, like it's licensed and everything, right? He's got a license to sell. So there's like legal stuff out front, and then there's like
Sure. Yeah.
Do you know the mother's sandwich bird phrase reference pasta? And then he's like, yes, come this way.
Cool. Yeah, I think like most of radio stuff is like on the level. I don't think she has anything that's like restricted or anything. But obviously, it's still hard to get sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So what are you looking to put in this thing here?
As a player, I forgot what I bought, but I know there was thermographics.
All right. Well, we're talking thermographics. We got the
Basic vision enhancement, maybe magnification. I can toggle on and off, stuff like that. But thermographics, definitely.
Well, we got the
Lights went out last time. I couldn't see anything. It sucked.
Yeah, that can be quite the situation. We got low light, we got thermographic, we got vision magnification, we got recording, we got projecting, if you'd like. We got all kinds of badass.
Infrared, ultrasound.
We got it all. You can have it alpha wear, beta wear, standard wear. We got used, we got recycled, we got rebuilt, we got fix it yourself. What are you thinking here?
Well, I just got paid, so let's just whatever. Yeah, let's get the works. I know it only has so much space in the noggin. But yeah.
We'll arrange it and squeeze in what we can squeeze. So you guys talk for a bit and decide on whatever it was that you actually put on your character sheet. And he says, yeah, he'll need the helmet for about 3 or 4 days.
Yep.
He'll give you a shout when you can come back and pick it up. So he's got your helmet. You take off from there. What's she doing in the meantime?
Interesting. That is something that she would normally want to be, having. But she does have some other gear that she could be using. So, she's got like climbing gear and diving gear and stuff for when she wants to do that urban exploring that we talked about. I think right now she actually does a little bit of working with climbing and seeing if she can I did buy free fall just in case I'd need that, just in case. So, climbing up to places and diving off of them into this cool irradiated lake that I've envisioned existing in Glow City. Yeah.
Wait, you're gonna go swimming in that? Oh my god. Dear Lord.
Yeah, of course. You want to come? I can show you all around the best places of the lake.
I'm gonna watch from the shore.
Okay, so
Not that much better, but all right.
you go. So you guys head down to the lake. Mac meets up with Radio, and it's like, yeah, she's telling you, I'm gonna go in there. And what's your reaction? Yeah, so are you gonna sit around by the shore, or are you gonna just keep an eye on her? What are you up to?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay right here, but I'll keep an eye. I'll hold your towel. You do have a towel, right?
Sure. Yeah. Wow. I should show you this. I should introduce you to see sometime. But I understand. Just wanted to watch.
I got days.
Just like a backflip in or something. She's got like stupid high gymnastics.
Right, I couldn't do that in a regular pool.
Okay, so you guys are hanging out there for a little bit. So Gerald, it's been a couple of days. You've been napping. Mm-hmm. You've been replenishing your electrolytes, which has been super important. Part
of the reason he was napping is because his helicopter went in for the refit.
Hmm.
So
So who's what kind of contact do you have there? Wherever the heck you bought your helicopter. Do you have any contacts there?
He's just got the fixer and the pharmacy tech Fruitsy Boots.
So you call Captain Flamingo. Picks up. Captain Flamingo's bird service.
Yeah, need to get that finally get that refit done on my on the whole Bursa here.
How deep you looking to go? How much you looking to spend? What kind of upgrades you actually trying to get done on this?
Well, yeah, we want to get that, very deep. We need to get very deep. Like just the surface isn't enough. We got to be able to go all the way down the bottom of the ocean.
Are you looking to make this thing like submarinally flightable?
Yeah, so we talked about that. You were gonna originally do that when I got the thing, but just didn't have the cash. But hey, I've been working.
Okay, well, I'm gonna put you in touch with a friend of a friend. An acquaintance, becoming closer, an acquaintance of mine. Her name is Sally. Don't ask about any other names. Her name is Sally.
Sounds like a made-up name.
I'm gonna guess it probably is, but she's quite the aircraft mechanic. So I'll give you her number. Be polite, be patient. All right.
When am I ever polite? I mean, I'm always polite. I mean, just give me your fucking number.
Starting now. Trust me, the work she does is worth you biting your tongue. Yeah.
I'll bite whatever she lets me bite.
Oh God! All right, you live your own life. Here's her number.
I think we figured out what kind of old man Gerald is. I have this theory. There's a limited number of old men types who could be, and Dirty is one of them.
Okay, so you call the number.
Yeah.
It rings a couple times. Picks up. This is Sally.
Hi. You wanna?
I'm not high yet, but give me time.
Is that part of the payment?
No, what can I do for you? Who the hell sent you?
Flamingo sent me. I gotta get my bird, so it can swim.
The number of times I heard that. All right. What model are we dealing with here? Assuming you're not being euphemistic.
Well, I wish I was. But, yeah, I got an Ares dragon. We needed to go swimming.
Ares dragon, you want to become basically a submarine that can fly. Wow,
yeah.
That's going to cost a couple of bucks.
Yeah.
All right. Any other modifications you want done?
Just a couple small things. Probably just got more space for drones, but I can give you the details. Nothing major.
Okay. I'm going to text you the GPS coordinates for the landing pad. You got to get it there in 10 days on the 23rd.
Yeah. Okay, no problem.
I'll have a look over it, and then we can discuss whether I even feel like it's worth it. I'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.
Oh my god, we're shadowrunning with Red Green. And it makes me feel so happy.
Okay, so the time goes by. If there's anything else you want to do in there, but you fly it down there, you land it. You land it, and out walks a couple of dwarves, kind of wave you down, and then once you're in, they just leave, go back into to this hangar just off the landing pad, and you shut it down. And nobody's there, but you can see Sally's written on top of this hangar.
Right on. Well, I'll waddle over to whatever looks like the office-y type area of the hangar, the back of the hangar.
So as you come in, like through basically the hangar doors, where you would pull in, plane, train, automobile, flying, bicycle.
Those aren't pillows.
Sorry.
Out from underneath a big warthog that's currently being lifted, this very, very large being starts to roll themselves out on a dolly, and rolls over, stands up to be about 7.5 feet tall, rather slightly chubby, very sweaty, smoking a long cigar out the side of their mouth. And you can see on the shirt, Sally. Horns, the whole bit. Hey, you Gerald?
Yeah, I'm Gerald. You're Sally.
Is that the bird?
That's her.
All right, come on, let's walk over there. She tosses a wrench off into a box.
Her name's Bertha, by the way. She's got a bit of an attitude.
Well, we'll fit right in, won't we? She kind of slaps you on the back.
She does actually have a personality matrix.
Oh, nice. Okay, so what are we doing here? You said you wanted to be able to go under the water.
Yeah, just, give me that submersible package that, lets you go swimming and all sorts of good stuff.
That don't come cheap,
Well, I'm aware.
What kind of budget we working with?
I could probably offer you a good 40 grand to do that.
Are you supplying parts?
Well, if I'm supplying the parts, then I'm paying you like 5 grand.
40. What did the book actually work it out to? I didn't look this up.
44,000.
Okay, 44,000.
Yeah.
She's like
2,000 times body.
Yeah, 40's a bit tight, to be honest with you. This kind of the thing I normally do for about 55, 50 maybe.
We're not talking mil spec here. This is not a military vehicle. I'm an old man. I just want to go swimming in my helicopters. That's so much to ask.
I'll tell you what. You're happy with a certain amount of recycling taking place?
As long as she flies and floats and sinks, but, controlled.
Yeah. Okay. For
Plus,
agreeing,
you don't want to piss off her that she gets angry if you fuck with her.
Tell you what, I'll pull from the scrapyard around back what I need to get it down to your budget, mix and match, put in as much new tech as I can. You'll have it. It's going to take about, honestly, fitting it in the schedule, it's going to take about 3 weeks to a month.
Yeah, all right. Hey, how much for that mule over in the corner? Looks a little run down.
Yeah, waffles? Run down. It don't run. It is for sale, as is.
I'll give you $2,000 for it. Brand new, they're 8.
She's like, yeah, I can let it go for 2.
All right. Make space for that in the thing when you're done too.
Okay. You did a hard bargain. Okay, so she sends you off, and you can get home however you feel like it. Donnie, it's been about a week or so. Kat is really struggling with the language lessons. What's her desire in terms of spending money and self-improvement?
She needed to go through an operation for some cyberware, and she had, what the heck is it called? What is it?
Yeah, what did you end up buying?
Wired reflexes.
What level?
First level.
Okay. All right, so you call your fixer, who is named something. Who is your fixer? His name is Fixer.
For now, if I could figure out how to add names to it, I would.
His name is Fernando.
I was going to go with Felix.
Felix
Fernando.
No, we don't do Felixes. I kill Felix.
You got some history there, Kat? Something we should know about?
Right,
yeah, you might say that.
Okay, her name is Sandrella Fernando. So you call Sandrella Fernando up.
Spell Sandrella?
Sandrello. Sandrello.
Sandrello. Okay.
Fernando. Fernundo.
UGH.
OUGH. Yes, Fernando. For those of you playing along at home with the Shadowrun stupid name game, we're gonna be doing a quiz at the end of this.
While we're at it, I might as well name my mechanic too.
About all the members of the piano family.
How about
who took notes last episode?
How about the mechanic's name is Oliver?
Tits.
Oliver what?
Oliver Tits.
Oliver Tits. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's totally a dude. He's like
Oliver Titty.
Yeah.
With an IE.
Okay, so you call Sandrella. Your fixer.
DDIE.
Kat, it's nice to hear from you. It's been a little while. How did everything go on that on that
The mission?
retrieval job. Yeah, curious about that.
Yeah, it went okay. We did make a little bit of dough.
Yeah,
Which
I
is
didn't hear.
basically why I come back to see you. I need fixed up.
Well, I didn't hear anything negative from the Johnson. He was pretty impressed with the professionalism of the group, at least. At least that's what his feedback was from the client contact. And so my very tiny commission was well worth putting you onto them for. So you're interested in exactly what now?
Getting a little bit of speed when I get into combat. I feel left out of things.
So are we going the cyberware route or the BioWare route? Or would you just like gym membership?
I already have gym membership. Let's go with the cyber route.
Okay, now how deep are we talking here? This will depend on who I send you to. Are we talking alphaware, betaware? Are we talking standard? Are we talking recycled? I hope not.
Oh, we're going with the standard route.
Okay, we're going standard. So I would recommend you call Doc McGillicuddy's. He is a little eccentric, but definitely 100% satisfaction from everyone I've ever sent to him. I will send you his contact information. You do need to book a consult, and and then from there it's usually a bit of a wait. Not super long. We're talking weeks, not months. And yeah, every customer I've sent there has been very satisfied. So give them a shout at the clinic, and yeah, let me know how it goes. And when you're ready to get back on the job too, give me a call.
You got it.
All right.
You got it.
Okay.
I'll
Best
reach
of
out.
luck with that. Best of luck with that. Let me know how it goes.
I will.
Always love. Bye.
I just want to raise this point for a second. Can you imagine, like, central nervous system surgery? The recovery on that would be awful.
I getting a control rig. Them's the most invasive pieces of equipment in your brain.
That's what Gerald's getting.
That's what he had, yeah.
Okay, Will.
Rigger gear.
So Kat gives a call to the McGillicuddy Clinic. Hello, Dr. McGillicuddy's. How can we help you?
Yeah, I need a little bit of an operation.
Everybody
like-
does. Everybody does.
Yeah.
Are we talking cosmetic enhancements? Are we talking something special?
Deeper. Yeah, definitely. What's her name? Sandrello sent me to you guys.
Oh, Sandrello, how is she doing? I haven't heard from her in a while. It's been brunch. It's been just... Oh, never mind. I need to call her. You tell me
I'm sure
exactly
she'd
what you
appreciate
need.
it.
You tell me exactly what you need, and I will go speak to Dr. McGillicuddy as soon as he's out of his latest procedure, and we'll see when we can fit you in for a consult. So what are we talking about here? Are we talking about external, or are we talking about internal?
Internal.
Internal. Are we talking about speed? Are we going for control rigs? Are we going for... What are we doing?
Speed.
Speed.
Definitely
Now,
need boosted.
specifically, we're looking for cyberware. Are we doing the wired reflexes package?
Yes.
And which level of upgrade are we looking for?
We'll start at the beginner for now.
The beginner for now. Okay, I highly recommend. First, we need to talk about your budget range, but you know what? Why don't we hold it off till you come in for your consult? I can book you for Thursday at the earliest. What is your availability on Thursday?
Thursday sounds good to me.
Thursday, how about 2 p.m.? We will see you. Our address is here. I will text that to you. And we will see you then at 2 p.m. Thank you very much. Oh, make sure you scrub your balls.
Lady, I don't have balls.
No. I mean, I'll explain when you get here. I mean your feet, the balls of your feet. You're going to need to tiptoe into the clinic. Standard terminology. Anyway, Yes. Perfect.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm in the process of learning Chinese, so the terminology that kind of
English is not my first language, okay? I apologize. Okay, we'll see you then.
Bye-bye. Now I got to have a talk with Sam Dello. Jesus Christ.
sorry. Text from my 6-year-old niece. Yeah. So Thursday rolls around, and you come in, and there's the receptionist. Hello, my name is Lisa. Come on in. Dr. McGillicuddy will be with you in just a minute. If you could put your shoes over there and scrub your feet over here, and we will be right with you. Clinic is very professional looking. It's like Japanese water garden themed situation. There is soft music playing. There's some various like flowers projected on the wall. There's like a bird flying around, which you can obviously tell is a little drone. Just some butterflies in the corner, obviously drones as well. There's
I see a waterfall. I see a waterfall over in the corner. Is that something you guys build here?
Oh, we just love to have an aesthetic of relaxation for our clients to come in. Please sit down. Would you like a hot towel?
That helps. Thank you.
Susan will be right with you momentarily. So you sit down. Someone brings you a hot towel, and a couple minutes.
This is like a Bruce situation where they're all named Susan.
Yes, Susan. This is Susan. This is also Susan. No. So you get this hot towel, and then...
well, in that case, I will call you Susie and her Susan. How's that?
Yeah.
Susie!
You know what?
My
name is Lisa. This is Susan, but if it makes you happy, you call me whatever you want, sweetheart. Now,
okay, bitch.
Just can I get you a glass of cucumber water?
No, thank you.
Lemon
Chamomile tea.
Chamomile tea. I will be right back. So she goes away, comes back in a couple of minutes. Chamomile tea. There's a tray with honey and sugar and stevia and cream and everything on the side. And so she said, then she says, okay, if you would come with me into the next room. Takes you to a room, sits you down. Dr. McGillicuddy will be right with you shortly. A couple minutes later, knock on the door. Is it all right?
If you're white, stay out if you're black.
So the door opens. A very slender, yet tall, elvish man steps in, glasses hanging around his neck, and goes, "Greetings. I am Dr. Shabazz McGillicuddy. Cyberware, bioware expert. I'm glad to have you grace our clinic. What were we doing? Let me look at your chart. We're interested in some wired reflexes. The GM's
Internal.
What was the cost of that again? I don't have this in front of me.
I don't remember. I just took it all off.
We'll skip ahead because you'll go back and forth on the price, and essentially he'll say, we don't cut corners here in our cyberware, but we are a full-service clinic. Included in the price is all the necessary anesthetic and your 24 hours of aftercare before we send you home. So
39,000, by the way, is base.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought it was up there. I was thinking 36.
Yeah. Standard market prices, 39,000 new yen. We do offer a 6-month warranty for any factory defects, any damage that you may cause in the use. Let's say off-book use, we will not cover, unfortunately, but any manufacturing or installed defects are 100% covered through our. So, what other cyberware do you have?
You would ask that. I have a. I know I have an eye. Come on. I had them listed. There they are.
I'm just gonna mute you there, Phil.
Yeah,
Phil.
I have cyber eyes and an audio enhancement.
Okay, so we will be doing full integration. That is no extra cost, as the cyberware I see, the audio enhancement, the oh, let me look at your chart here. I see an internal air tank as well. That is very interesting. We don't see those a lot. Wow, one of these days you'll have to talk about what you've used it for. So this is a long procedure, but you know, a fairly common one these days. So the surgery will be approximately 12 to 18 hours. We will keep you sedated the entire time. When it's complete, we will wake you, do a little bit of testing to make sure everything is taken and functioning properly. Then we're just going to give you a nice sedative and wheel you into recovery. Do you have any questions? We're obviously not going to be doing this today, but do you have any questions for me now before we book you for the procedure? 100% is payable up front, but isn't obviously entirely guaranteed.
Let's get this done.
Okay, well, why don't I will fill this out. He just, on the computer, pulls up the calendar and says, I appear to have time in the operating suite here in the clinic. Of course, we share the clinic with several other physicians. So the operating theater for deep internals is available on Saturday or next Monday. Which would you prefer?
Let's do Monday.
Monday. All right.
Yes,
I will
I'm
see
usually
you.
busy on the weekends.
See you at 7 a.m. Now, one thing we do need to do is we are going to have to remove hair from top to bottom. So you could do this yourself, or if you would like us to do it, we are gonna need you to show up an hour earlier. Regular surgery time is 7 a.m. But if you need to have any of the cleansing and hair removal procedures, that would be, just let us know and we'll book you for 6.
Set it up for 6.
Okay. So he plugs you in. You guys do the deal. They take your money and they send you off. You come back Monday morning, 6 o'clock. It's a bit of a whirlwind. Kat's probably a little bit nervous because this is going to be something a little bit deeper than anything she's experienced. They are taking all of your nerves out and replacing them. Quite the insane procedure. You watched a few YouTube videos of this, and there were moments when you had second thoughts. But you've pulled yourself together, and you've decided we're going ahead with this.
Nah, we don't need those vertebrae anymore. Get rid of them.
Susie takes you in and says, okay, sweetheart, here is your robe and your slippers. Please go in here and leave your clothing on the bench, folded there. No one else will enter the room. It will be right here when you're done. We will move it with you into the recovery room, and everything will be there, ready for you when you are ready to go home. So you get changed. They take you in. They laser the shit out of you for a few minutes and sanitize whatever they need to sanitize. Then they get you on the bed, start an IV, just so they can knock you out when they need to knock you out, and take you into the operating theater. Lights are bright, everything's going, doctor's there, anesthesiologist, a couple of nurses to help. They kind of give you the whole, they made sure you've signed all your forms, you've signed your life away, the money has been paid, the pre-surgery prep is complete.
Doctor, the patient needs to put down next of kin.
Oh, yes. Nurse is reminding me. Kat, who would you like as an emergency contact?
My big toe.
My big toe. Okay, let's just write down no emergency contact.
Actually, I think Bliss would actually help me out here if need be. I give it to her.
Okay, so you give them Bliss's contact info. All right, are we ready? Any last questions before we knock you the fuck out? Okay, they knock you out. You wake up, and the lights are bright. You're kind of awake, and you're like,
oh, wait a minute. I can't move my arms, can I?
no. You're awake, and you're like, there's doctors around you. They're kind of talking back and forth.
Oh God, she's awake.
Yeah. Oh, look, the patient's eyes are opened, and for a second, it's like you ever lick a 9-volt battery when you're a kid?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, your lungs feel like that. Your butthole feels like that. Between your toes, it feels like is licking a battery somehow. This makes no sense, but every part of you is like, oh, shock, lemon, ugh, gross, sour, liquid, and then you're gone. You're out again. You wake up and you're a little tingly. Things are just tingly. You can hear some like soft music playing. You smell some flowers in the corner, coming from the corner. There's
Please tell me the lemon scent disappeared.
yeah, nothing smells or tastes like lemons anymore.
Good.
All right, you're a little groggy, and you kind of recover. One of the nurses comes in, checks you over, says, okay, just kind of sits your bed up. They take your pulse, your pressure, measure respiration rate, look at the eyeballs. Everything seems to be normal. Ask you how you feel. Everything feels
my fingers.
normal. And so they say, okay, we're just going to have, they bring you something to eat. Washroom is there. So you kind of do the thing for like, a day. They won't let you leave for 24 hours. So you're there. Things are kind of boring. Watching Tridio for a while. Finally, they let you out. You close it back.
No Tridio for me. You don't watch it.
So
Don't watch it.
yeah. So you amuse yourself in various ways. But now the time has come. You're being released. They've washed your clothes. Deodorized your boots. You are good to go. So you're dressed. They wheelchair you down outside the clinic. Now it's time. You have this urge.
And a car pulls by and startles you. What happens?
Yeah.
Pick up a rock and throw it at it.
The car guy's like, God, fuck you, man. Fuck you. And they just kind of like keep going. It was a pretty dented up jalopy anyway. So you've just got brand new cyberware. It tells you in the brochure you will be able to jump higher, run faster, think more quickly, react at great speed. You've got to be wanting to test that out.
There's a little toggle switch in your overvision.
That's exactly it. So the AR comes up.
Oh, well,
and you
actually,
can
do you have vision mod?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
she has a cyber.
Then, yeah,
She's got
yeah.
So
Well, that sucks.
Also, probably feels like you're on cocaine or something. The way your body just feels
you
amped.
You feel like I can fucking go. What does she do to test it out?
Try to go for a run.
Okay.
It works.
You turn it on, and you're like, oh, there's a crosswalk there. You walk. You're like, you turn on. You can feel it going. Like, okay, bounce up to the crosswalk. All right. Okay, it's like, don't walk. Don't walk. Don't walk. You're looking to block down. You're looking to block down. Don't walk. Don't walk. Click. Walk. She takes off. The wind is moving over her face. Her clothes are kind of like... She's feeling like, oh my God, I've never run this fast in my entire life.
Like a running
Oh God. And you just keep
All right.
going.
Let me learn how to use this.
Yeah.
I rolled 2d6.
Yeah, that
Comes
wasn't
up
in
to a
there.
total of 3. And I add 3 dice to my initiative roll. Is that correct?
So did you upgrade it in Hero Lab? Did you reprint yourself?
Yeah.
So what's your initiative score now? Because your initiative was
It's
7 plus 1
7 plus 2.
plus 2d6 now. So yeah, you just roll 2d6 and then...
All right. I rolled 2d6 and I got 3 out here. And no success because I'm not shooting for the 5, right?
Yeah. So yeah, you feel it's a little bit faster, right? But you could tell there's still a little bit more, right? If you really like, it takes a bit to get used to. You're slightly uncoordinated, but it's gonna come. So essentially, you will spend probably, I'm gonna say, the next couple of weeks just like turning it on and off, trying all the things you've tried. Like you pick up a guitar that you haven't played in a while, and you're like, man, I can play Flight of the Bumblebee at double speed. Holy moly, this is amazing.
Yeah, wired reflexes are interesting because they're all about reaction, right? Like your body still can only get pushed as far as it normally could, but you can like send the message from your brain to your arm faster,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you've had moments where your body has moved this quickly in spurts, and you've seen, like you bump into the counter and a knife falls off the edge, and you just like, oh, you catch it like before it goes anywhere, barely over the edge. You're like, wow, yeah, I usually would have had to like reach a little bit farther before snagging that out of the air. That sort of thing. It's like all stuff your body has done before. It just feels so much easier now. Okay, so we'll leave Kat there for a minute. Mac, it's been about half an hour, and you've got your money. You guys finished eating at the IHOP or House of Pancakes, wherever it was, that you guys had the all-night breakfast and beers. Everyone's kind of gone their separate ways. It's maybe 5 in the morning now. You got a bottle of pills in your pocket and a shit ton of money.
Right. All right. Well, fuck it. And he takes a few pills. And he pays a few debts. He's feeling good for a couple days. And then he starts to feel bad again. And then he takes a couple more pills. And he goes and buys some stuff. Kind of goes and gets back some of the, like, takes back some of the things that he had stripped away from him by this heartless corporation. And so he goes to some of the old medical supplies and magical supplies that he used to go to. He knows where to pick this stuff up, and he knows the talk to try and nothing too high end. And the highest thing he picks up is Medicine Lodge for magic. And he picks up he buys it, doesn't buy the pre-assembled kits though, because that's going to raise some flags. So instead he buys it little piece by piece, like he's just replacing stuff that was already owned, using his fake sin, just little by little, picking up the pieces of the life he once had. And this is what he's wanted for a hell of a long time. But everything he gets and adds, every step he takes back towards that life just makes him hate more that it was taken from him. And he just gets more and more angry, and that just makes him take more and more pills. And so one night, he's picked up a couple more prescriptions, and one night he takes half the bottle and a bunch of whiskey chaser.
So he's unconscious now, and we know you're not dead, so we're not going to make you roll. You're out of it. You've taken all the drugs you had left. You've drank the whiskey bottle from its half-full state all the way down, whipped it against the wall. It's shattered in the corner. Kind of like throw yourself down on the floor, leaning back on the couch, butt on the floor.
Severed your finger.
What the heck?
Severed his finger. The broken whiskey bottle.
You're bleeding.
Heals it back up.
You're
It
bleeding,
just holds it on.
Bleeding a little bit from one of your fingers.
Yeah.
Amber turd. And then you just slip into unconsciousness.
Oh, he looks like Gerald.
Colors are swirling. Blackness. There's a feeling of cold. And you hear...
Yeah, fuck this.
You hear kind of this rustling of leaves. You hear like trees kind of swaying and the branches rubbing against each other a little bit. You suddenly can see up. You're lying on your back in the forest, and you can see it's a starry night, and the stars are thick. And this is weird, because like you've been out in the woods, you've taken some trips in various places, away from Seattle. And there's no such thing as anywhere on Earth where you've ever been where there isn't like some kind of light pollution. But here, you can see more stars than you could have possibly imagined existed.
Nice.
You're sitting there and you're like, you're just in awe of it for a few moments. You're like, oh my God, this is crazy. I must be dead. I must have died, and whatever afterlife this is a place where there's no technology. Technology just isn't here. You get that sense. You look down, your cyber hand is not there. It's a normal hand. Both your hands are normal.
And I just begin to bawl. As soon as I see my regular hand, I'm just like, just everything falls away and just weeping.
So you're on your back, you're crying, tears start to pool in your eye a bit, and you get to be blurry. So you kind of roll over a little bit, push yourself up till you're on your knees, and you're like wiping the tears a little bit. And you kind of hear something very soft. These footfalls, just softly in the leaves, sounding like they're maybe 20-25 feet away from you. Coming towards you slowly, not at a run, at a very gentle walk.
Who's there?
So you look up, and there's a dark figure. It's at night, right? So it's a dark figure, hooded robe, all the way to the ground, holding a staff. Just standing there, looking at you. You can't see the face, it's totally blacked out. They take their staff, they raise it and then bring it down into the ground. Not like, but just with this strength. And the base of it sinks into the ground. And then he lets go of it, this figure. And the staff is kind of up. It's like craggy. It's kind of twisted wood, and there's a root ball at the end. Kind of has an arm that comes off of it. And then the figure just steps back and walks away, and just sort of fades out of sight. You stand there, or you sit there for a second, and you look at it, and then you look up, and something very small from deep back in the trees starts to slightly grow bigger. I mean, it's the size of a pinhead when you first notice it. And it gets bigger, and it gets bigger. And then you start to see kind of this motion. And then you see it kind of drop down near the ground, swoop up, open its wings, and land on its staff. Turn its head, turn its eye towards you, and it caws. It's a very, very large raven.
Am I dead?
Kind of looks off to the side, looks at you, looks at the ground, and then pulls out a wing and starts cleaning its feathers.
Right, stupid question.
And then it kind of stops and stares at you, and you just get this urge to stand up.
I do. I'll stand, and if doesn't resist, I'll walk a little forward.
As you do, it just puts its right wing out. Just its right one. And you're like, you look at that. It's weird. Birds always do this.
Yeah.
2 hands, 2 wings. They don't do one, so it puts its one wing out. And then it draws it back in and kind of tilts its head.
I'll put my right hand out. That's my still non-cyber.
So as soon as you start to put it out, you've just kind of barely started to put your hand out, it alights into the air, swoops down and comes up and lands on your arm. And then it kind of like slowly walks up your shoulder, and it starts like kind of gently like pecking at your hair, pulling at whatever loose hair, and kind of like pulls at your shirt a bit, and then it just sits there. And all of a sudden in your mind something starts to trigger. Start to get this feeling like every time the bird touches you with its beak, something gets like more and more intense. And it's not like loud, it's not sound, but it's not pressure, but it's not light, but it's not temperature, but it's kind of all of them at the same time. And you get this sense that there's something about to happen.
I'm gonna lift up my other hand. Is it still there, or is it a stump?
It's still there. It looks normal.
I'm gonna hold it out to this creature if it wants to perch on it.
So you bring it towards it, and it kind of pecks at your hand. And your hand looks normal and feels normal, but the beak sound is definitely pecking metal.
And for the first time in a really long time, his arm doesn't ache at the connecting point. It's hot, but it doesn't ache.
So just as a GM here, what did you take for your initiate?
For initiate, I actually took quickening.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was going to ask, I did have enough karma to initiate twice. But if you think I can only do it one time, that's okay.
Oh, no. I told you to do it twice. You got to do it twice.
So the second initiation, which was much... the first one was an ordeal, so a vision. The second one was more mundane and like meditation and pulling yourself back. The stuff that I was trained to do in like training through the corporation. But the first one was how to do quickening.
So you got quickening. What was the next initiative?
And the next
level?
one was masking.
Masking. Okay. So you feel your totem. You're raven here. Like you can feel like through its touch, just like something is coming from it into you. And then as you kind of like look side-eye at the bird, it's like just being a bird. It's like totally like you had ever seen any wild bird or bird at the zoo. And it's behaving kind of totally normal like any tame bird might if it was sitting on a shoulder of someone's shoulder. But there's something going on here. Like every time it kind of like moves its feet and like moves back and forth, each time it lets go and puts its foot back down on your shoulder, you feel like this surge of something coming into you.
I'm going to look at it and be like, wait. Why are you trying to... What's the point of trying to fix me? It's just going to break. It all breaks.
So when you do that, it kind of like stops moving for a second and it turns its beak and it pokes you in the temple really hard twice.
All right. It's not me. Got it.
And then it kind of does this little chattering sound that almost sounds like a chuckle, and it clicks its beak a bit. And then it kind of like bobs its head up and down a little bit. And then it just goes back to like preening itself on you. And then this goes on for like a few more minutes. And then you start to feel like tired, like a little bit sleepy. And you're like, oh man, I just want to sit down.
I'll kneel carefully.
So when you do, the bird takes off, flies again, and sits on the staff that was pushed into the ground.
Sure, and I'll sit in a lotus kind of position.
And it turns and it looks at you, and you get even more tired. And you're just like, I can't even keep my eyes open. And you're just like, oh. And so you can't control it. You kind of fall down on your side a bit, but you're still looking in that direction. And the bird takes into the air and flies back where it came from. And as it disappears, things start to spin a little bit. The whole world, you kind of start getting the spinnies. It's just starting to happen. And then you start to see that figure come back again, the cloaked figure. Walks up, takes the staff, pulls it out of the ground, turns around and starts to walk away, and you're unconscious. You wake up, and you're back in your apartment, slumped against the couch.
And I puke my guts out.
And you vomit. But you feel a little bit different. You feel like something's changed. You feel like there's this kind of feel centered a little bit, where, weeks ago you would have hated being by yourself. You would have hated it because you're alone. You're alone with your own devices. You can kind of... No one's there to stop you or discourage you or socially look down upon the fact that you might take all those drugs you've usually got stashed somewhere. But right now, you're calm about it. You're like, yeah, if I had drugs, maybe, but maybe not. Maybe I'd be okay.
I'm gonna try to flush my stash. I don't know if that's gonna take a composure check or something.
Yeah, you're gonna do a composure check +3 to your pool. Same threshold though.
I have to find that. I'm sorry. Where did that go? There it is. +3. So I'll add 3 more dice to this.
Holy crap.
Wow. Okay. So that's a total of 6 hits.
Yeah.
So you're feeling just totally calm. You grab your stash. You don't even hesitate. You take it, chuck it, you flush it. You don't even watch it go down. You walk out of the bathroom, over to the kitchen, get a kettle, you put water in it, you put it on the stove, you grab a teacup, you grab a bag of green tea, and you just wait for it to boil. And you're feeling very, very relaxed right now.
In the back of my head, I can't stop thinking about, like, they're as pitiful as I've been, and I mean that literally. I can't help but think of others who, like, I've had a rough run, but there are worse. And then I just dismiss that thought, and I get angry, and trying to flex that metallic hand of mine, and sometimes I don't notice it, and it still gets clenched up. But then I concentrate and just loosen it up, and I just try to breathe, and I feel more calm. And I pick up Fred's gun, and I put it in the holster, and I call radio. Give radio a call. I'll call Gerald too, but just check in. They're just kind of on my mind. Cats goes to voicemail.
Cool. Yeah, do you want to play that out, or is that just sort of like feed into the scene we did before?
Either one. Whatever's Steve.
We're going to pause there because it's 8:30 my time and I have to pee.
Okay.
But
Cool,
yes,
thanks,
we
man.
may pick that up when we come back.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, does anybody else want to do the talk thing? And, like, shout out? Nah, let's take a break.
Let's take a break. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere because we have to go somewhere.
After these pisses, we'll be right back.
Yep.
It's all right. We will come back. I guess I probably shouldn't break into yet another different accent. All right,
Yep,
we're back. Woohoo! So, internet, hi, we are back. We're playing some Shadowrun, and don't forget, we'd love to hear from you. And if this is your first time or not, feel free to hit the like, follow, subscribe, all that nonsense. I'm gonna get off the screen and let Steve take over. Steve.
Yo. Well, so it's been a while. It's been 4 months now since you guys last kind of worked together. A little bit of keeping in touch, a little bit of messaging,
Yeah.
from person to person.
Hey, Gerald, you're not dead yet, right? Awesome.
And a wannabe.
Yeah.
All right. How do I make it read a tally?
You'll fly again soon.
So you guys get a message
16.
on your pan from Bliss. Hey guys, it's been a while. I know. I'm sorry. I've been doing something. It's required required my focus and my attention for a little while. So, yeah, I'll tell you guys about it later. But right now, I have to. We have to meet if it's possible. Yeah. Are you guys down for like for meeting up? Say in I don't know. I got a hotel room where I've been at the last couple of nights. You guys mind popping in there?
Not a problem.
Of course, I'm always up to see you, Bliss.
Is this a call or a message?
It's kind of like a
Or it's a
Conference
missed call.
yeah. It's a conference call. She does that.
Are we all on this?
Yeah.
Anybody needs a ride, I got my van.
I'll take a lift.
I can pick someone up on the way.
I can use the exercise. It's fine.
I'll take the ride. Can't keep up with radio anyway.
I'm just trying to find the right map here. Here it
And
is.
she gets out there and gets electrified, man.
Oh, look. Some people are actually in here.
I have a-
all right. No, Bliss and Kat are in here. We just need to get everyone else in here.
All right.
So she kind of sends you a message, and yeah, meet me here. The door's open. Don't worry, I'll see you coming. Just walk in. So,
Alright. Here we go.
so you guys show up one at a time as you walk down the hallway into this place. The door just kind of like opens, you step through, and it closes, and you're like, whoa, that's a lot of weird light coming from the back area.
Actually, there's two of us walking in. When I get there, it's me and Mac.
Put you over there. And then Mac. you put
Sorry, which
yourself-
map are you on there, Steve?
Yeah, you're gonna swap maps.
Yeah, I don't see no map.
Oh, I gotta update. Well, I gotta update it. You guys aren't in here, Todd. It's whichever one's active right now. What did I call it? Oh,
Unfortunately.
it's called Hacker Hideout.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Aha.
there we are. Yeah, and we can just light the whole thing up, because of course you would light the whole thing up. You know how Bliss is? She kind of likes to have a lot of gadgets going on. So you guys are in there. She's like, yeah, come on back, guys. I gotta show you some stuff. So she calls you up.
Wow. I'm just making idle conversation.
You know what this place needs is a TV or two. Oh no.
Too many for me. Too many.
Yeah. You guys
What's in
gotta
that?
come. I gotta pull some
One
stuff
way.
up on the screen here for you. You gotta see all this. And there's like too many to count before she starts like directing your attention to a couple of monitors. It's like, okay, guys, since we last hung out. By the way, it's good to see you all. Everyone looks good.
I run up and give her a hug.
Mac, you look real healthy. Kat, you look a little jumpy. But it is good to see you. Gerald, I'm glad to see you vertical. Radio.
I'm always vertical for you, Bliss.
Oh god, you walked right into that one.
Alright.
I am not surprised at all, you sweet old beast of a man.
What you got?
Oh, by the way, Bliss, I gotta let you know you are my beneficiary if it comes to it.
I did know that. Yeah, I did keep an eye on you when you went under for that procedure. Daring, I will say. But it looks good on you, or in you.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to go out for like breakfast after this, but anyway.
Nice.
So after we left, it kind of bugged me, the note on the piece of paper. So I did a little digging. I called. First thing I did was call a contact of mine. He's in the Yakuza. Because I kind of needed to know straight up, was this them, you know? And what was their involvement? And he could tell me a little bit about it. Essentially, he's not a member of the Yakuza family that was a part of the heist to steal all that cyberware from Horizon in the first place. But it's kind of hard to completely hide anything between Yakuza families, right? They kind of all know what everyone's doing. I mean, you know, they do get together, the bosses do get together on a regular basis to make sure they're not stepping on each other's toes, and they do share information. So a lot of that trickles down. Some of it I was able to get from my contact. So basically what he told me was, this wasn't them. This was not actually a Yakuza family that stole the cyberware from Horizon in the first place. They had nothing to do with it. Everyone denies it. There was some going back and forth, apparently, about, you know, this one family not believing another, when they were all asserting that that this wasn't done by any of the actual real Yakuza families. Now, there's a lot of hangers-on to families. You know, there's the odd super low-level guys that kind of, hey, I'm from Japan too, I'm going to join up, I'm with so-and-so. But no one really gets into Yakuza without actually being known. So it can be we can be fairly certain that that wasn't actually the Yakuza that stole it from Horizon. So that raised some issues for me, and I had to do some digging for a lot longer. I did have quite a few conversations with His Excellency. He's off in Brazil right now on some other job. I mean, if there's ever a place for him to be, Brazil. Watch out, Brazilians. Anyway, whole other story.
Right, I'm just picturing that big guy with a Brazilian.
Yeah, me too.
I'm picturing it when he gets off the plane.
Me too. Oh, plane? He didn't take a plane. He promised me he would give me the whole story when he gets back, and I'll invite you guys too if he's down for that. But anyway, big Sasquatch in the trees makes my heart flutter. Anyway, he kind of did his report back to Horizon. Apparently, all of their follow-up on that just went into dead ends. Horizon themselves do have contacts in the Yakuza, so I'm assuming that they eventually found out what I found out, that it wasn't them. So that left me with the question, well, who the heck actually, what was this all about? Like, how did this crate of like lots of very expensive cyberware actually get stolen and then end up with that piano family?
You know,
So,
I'd say curiosity is gonna get you killed one day, but I know you'd never have it any other way. So continue.
So I took a bit of a risk. It seemed clear to me that when Flip jumped and gave you that piece of paper with that message on it, Mac, that he was reaching out. And I decided that I was just going to trust that that was true. So, yeah. Remind our viewers what I wrote, what it said.
I got it.
I can't remember. Oh yeah, not all of us are.
We're not all as loyal as you might think.
Yeah, that's right. We're not all as loyal as you might think. And so
Those are words that would probably get a man like him killed.
yeah, which is why
He wrote it instead of saying it.
yeah, and I kind of thought about that for a little while, and I kind of thought like that made sense why he wrote it down, right? You don't speak that aloud. You don't. Someone's always listening, right? Someone's always watching. Someone's always reading. But like You have that piece of paper. You had that piece of paper. Like, no one's getting that. No one's expecting that these days. So I started looking, putting pieces together. What has the Piano family done? What other businesses are they into? What has been reported about them in, legit and non-legit media? What's the whisper on the deep net, the dark net, the deep dark net, all of that. Tried to get some introductions to other runners that may have had some dealings with them. All of this online, all of this heavily, let's just say, in the time since you've seen me last, I've learned how to look like someone I'm not.
It's a good trick. I've been working on that too.
So,
or at least
I eventually
not being around.
I eventually reached out to Blurp himself. Not as Bliss, but coming to him saying that I knew what was going on, but I was a friend. It took quite a while of attempting to connect with him. He is very flighty. Yeah, and eventually I kind of had to hint that I was someone that worked with him before, and though I appeared to him not as Bliss, I kind of had to let him know it was me. Eventually, when he put two and two together, he started to open up a bit, and what I had assumed was the truth, he confirmed, which was that, okay, so you got to understand this. Because I learned this from, talking to people who talk to people, and he kind of confirms this for me. So you got to know this. She pulls up this crazy, on the monitors, this crazy, flow chart of that she's put together, and it's like there are Polaroids, Photoshop, kind of like virtual Polaroids with red strings going between things and marker written out that okay, this is the family. Okay, this is a Squale Piano up here. He's the Don. This family goes back a few generations. The leadership of this family is passed on through heredity. You cannot just become the Don of this family without being of his seed, let's say. Underneath him, you got this guy. This is Alfonso Donkey. He's the consigliere. Now, Donkey isn't actually his real last name. It took me a while to figure that out. His real last name actually is Piano. But Donkey's just a nickname. I can't, for the life of me, figure out why...
I can give you, 3 guesses, love.
But, these mafia guys, kind of pick stupid names. So here's the 4 capos of this family. You got Barney, you got Gerry, you got Tony, and you got our guy, Crandall. Now, each of these guys have what they call guys. Each of these capos have guys underneath them. She points out 3 for Barney, for Gerry, for Tony. Their names are all there, but it's not important at this point. And he's like, here's Crandall's people. You got Ferguson, you got Flurp, and you got Kyle. Now, they don't necessarily always work together, apparently. The guys. But Crandall apparently isn't the nicest capo to be working for.
He's the shadiest asshole we know.
Yeah, he's not the greatest. He's kind of a little bit different in personality to the other capos. He has no legitimate ability to move up. Consigliere, gotta be biological family. Boss, gotta be biological family. Capo, one of the 4, at least at any given time, is gonna be biological family. In this case, I'm not sure which one of it is. This is one of the interesting things. They somehow keep that secret, which is apparently why Alfonso Donkey doesn't go by Piano. It's very tightly guarded within the family, or at least it's tightly guarded, you know, in terms of they don't want people outside the family to know who's related to who, because they don't really want this line of succession to become something public, apparently. So when you become a capo, you change your name, and they pay some serious hackers a lot of money to make your past disappear. So these guys that work under the capos, well, none of them are family. This is interesting too, and I'm not really sure how that plays into things. But so Crandall is very clearly not the guy. Somehow Flirp figured this out at some point. So he knows he's stuck where he is. He can't go up. But he can't jump to some other family, because they're not going to accept him either. It's kind of the same sort of thing, right? Like, if you jump to our family, we know you're betraying your family, so why are you going to be loyal to us? That just doesn't happen. So, Flirp knows his place. He knows, yeah, he could become a capo, but that would be it. That's as far as he would go. But, you know, for a guy that does his job well in the family, kind of told me he could make a good living off that. The one and only time when you would see a family have a boss that's not ascending to his position through hereditary lines is when the whole family gets wiped out. This apparently happened about 100 years ago in some of the families from Italy and Sicily. I think there's movies made on the subject you could find. I watched a few of them at 2X. It was interesting. So it was hard to get him to talk about details beyond kind of that organizational stuff. What he hinted at, what I'm gathering from what the conversations I had with Flirp, and kind of looking at the patterns of the way the other capos have done their business and the way Crandall has done his business, I feel like Crandall is angling to do a repeat of what happened 100 years ago. He seems to be angling to wipe out Boss, Consigliere, and any other family members. This whole dealing of the crate thing, yeah, it was bullshit. That was not the Yakuza who stole it. It was Crandall and someone from outside the family that he hired that stole it from Horizon, because apparently the order had come down from up top that the Piano family was going to steal it directly from Horizon. But not steal, because this is a kind of a deal that these guys have with various manufacturers. Stuff goes missing, insurance pays for it, and the family profits. They have a deal like that with somebody on the inside at Horizon, at Ares, at Mitsushima, and apparently a couple of other places.
Right, but Bliss, this all sounds really, really fucking complicated. But we don't know which ones are family, do we? We just know Crandall isn't.
Yeah.
So we don't know who else might be in on it, who might be the target.
You know, it's great seeing y'all, but what does this have to do with us? Like,
well,
why should we care?
Future
That's
job.
exactly my question.
I mean, not if no one's hiring. Someone wants to hire me, they can go through my fixer, all right? None of this. All right. I mean, it's great hanging out.
Well, this is the thing. This is what eventually I had to drill down to with Flirp, is why did he reach out to us? What was the point? Because he very clearly acknowledged that he was trying to reach out to us to continue. So I got him to finally spit it out. He's loyal to the family. He knows his place. He's loyal to the family. And he knows most of the other guys are loyal to the family. far as he knows, all the other couples are loyal to the family. Crandall very clearly isn't. But he needs proof of that. And he needs a way to essentially expose him. So what he wants to do is hire us essentially to continue to do the dirty work that Crandall wants done in Crandall's efforts to sow dissent within the family. But he wants us to essentially succeed without succeeding, to do the job, but not in the way Manakani wants it done. He wants us to be the squad that Crandall thinks is working fully for him, doing the misdirection, sowing seeds of dissent, causing trouble, upset the family, set the stage for a coup kind of thing. But meanwhile, we'll be double agents the whole time, working fuck over Crandall.
Oh, double agents get double pay.
They also get double
Better.
dead.
Well, I'll tell you this, we're only gonna die once. So that's a good deal.
It makes a point there.
This is true. Starting to learn it. It's what you do in the meantime. I don't know if this is the hill I want to die on, though.
Well, here's how he explained to me why it made sense that he came to people in our positions. You can't bring people in with a reputation. You can't bring people into this family who are known, right? So if we're gonna come from nothing, we gotta come from nothing.
Right. Well, got that covered.
Bliss, is His Excellency going to be accessible if need be? I mean, he does get around. We might need his help at times.
Well, don't know
If
about
nothing
that.
if nothing else, information.
Well, he's always going to be around. If I call him, he'll pick up. Apparently, he's gotten better at using his pen. Last time I called him, he answered it, and there were no weird noises. Kind of amazed me, actually.
Well, you had to talk him through it. I remember that. You had to tell him,
I
do
scanned
this,
it.
do that, don't do that.
Yeah, but I scanned it, and there were no viruses, no malware, no tracking, but it was clean.
Clearly, it's
I asked
not
him
him. He's
for him,
been
and
killed.
He told me he did it
Your
himself.
step-parents are dead.
Whoa, wait a minute. He did it himself? He fixed his own
Yeah.
pen?
We have to
Yeah, I
assume
guess-
he's been compromised.
Yeah, I thought so too, but no, I talked to him for a while, and apparently he actually read some posts about how to do things, and he's learned a little bit about computers.
He learned how to read too?
Yeah,
This is good news.
yeah. He said he used his pan for a whole month straight without breaking it and needing to replace it either. That was amazing. Anyway,
But yet, when you called him the other day, he did have an attitude.
well, he always
He hasn't
does,
changed that.
but no, I wouldn't want him to. No, the last I talked to him, he told me he was off on a one-man mission in, a one beast mission. I see, man. I don't even know. But he's on a
In
one
Brazil,
Sasquatch job in Brazil, down in what's left of the natural areas down there.
I envy him.
Honestly,
I'd love to
he's
go
not
there.
perfect for that job. But listen, that's an aside. Of course, if he's around, he's gonna help. But
Well, the reason I ask about it is because he worked for Horizon and he has connections.
he does, which is part of how I got in touch with Horizon. Like, he actually put me in touch with them. Now, what I found out doing some digging was, who the connection was between Horizon and the Piano family, because obviously I tracked some money going back and forth between members of the Piano family and someone who's kind of, let's say, mid-level at Horizon. turns out that same kind of thing happened at a few cyberware manufacturers, right? So this is their little deal. Stuff falls off the back of the truck. They hire an outside person to investigate it. They make the insurance claim. Horizon still makes their money. They, in this case, Piano Family gives a kickback to the guy on the inside on top, so he gets his money for organizing the disappearance of a shipment. That's their little arrangement.
Right.
But His Excellency is actually, I want to say, undercover then for Horizon to track it down.
Well, his thing was a one-time contract with them. Apparently, they do that all the time. They'll pull people in with certain skills, certain knowledge of certain areas to go investigate things. Apparently, the reason why he was called in was because the original shipment disappeared in a section of the rainforest in Central America while it was being shipped between the manufacturing facility and the shipping facility. It was basically a situation of who's best suited to take advantage of the terrain. That's why they went after someone of his skills.
So, let me get this straight.
He just followed it all the way to Seattle.
To just jump back around, you want to do this.
I want to do this.
You want to dive deep in with the mob.
Well, I mean, we are all criminals. So are they. They're just better at it than us.
Well, that's true. I mean, it's not like I've got suitors knocking down my door or anything, so, like, I guess, but a payday's a payday, but it just seems like I'd be dead in a week.
I'll be up front with you guys.
She says you loving the accent, by the way.
Yeah, I got tired of blending it into... Yeah.
Cat?
Up front with you guys. If Bliss is in, I'm in. I have been Bliss's backup for a few years. I will not let her get shanghaied into something that's going to have her dead. I'm with Bliss.
If it's a way we can get dead, I'm on board.
Yeah, I mean, I got no reason to not want to do this. I just need the reason to. And if you're setting this up, then you can ensure we're getting paid. Sure.
So
and if Mac, you need to watch your back. That's just extra, I guess.
So I didn't get any dollar figures or million figures, but essentially what Flurp indicated was you're going to get paid from Crandall when he hires you, because Flurp's the one that does Crandall's hiring. But to do what Flurp wants, you're going to get some on the back end as well. So
We just got to make sure this whole
Flurp's not going to get in trouble for the or even traced as far as who he's paying to help.
I mean, we got to actually deal with Crandall. If well, as long as that guy's got pull and we're screwing him over, that's gonna be a problem. But if this all goes well, right?
I mean,
then we did a favor to the mob.
Worst case scenario, we do the job proper. Crandall rises to the top, and we've got favors, and we get paid. Okay, maybe that's not the worst case, but
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm fine doing another job for pianos. Their New Year's as good as anyone else's.
I suppose if this all goes down, then we can decide later if we need to, go for Team Crandall or Team Piano.
I think if this is gonna work, we're gonna have to make that choice early. I don't want to be triple agenting this. That's too big a number for me. I work with simple stuff.
That's fair. Well, and I look around the room for I don't know. Is there any snacks or food that Bliss has got on the go out here?
Room service.
Yeah.
We're at the hotel.
You look around and you see it's kind of like the place is kind of strewn with wrappers of things and just some empty shopping bags, and there's a fridge.
Yeah.
Where
you guys don't know Bliss very well, but she's got a chocolate addiction.
All right, if I see
yeah,
a chocolate laying around
Or is this?
and she doesn't mind, I'll scoop it up, toss it up in the air, catch it.
You get the sense that she hasn't slept in a while, and she definitely has not taken the time out of putting all of this together to bother sleeping, most likely, very often. So the chances that she would have cooked herself a home meal and brought some groceries home are less than none. But
Bliss, let's grab some
That
grub.
NutriPaste.
I know a good place. Let's go get some vitamin D on you as well.
yeah,
Oh yeah, these screens are not doing me any favors.
I mean, it's lots of
Yes.
UV, but, come on. Come on,
all
outside.
right. I could go for some breakfast foods. Waffles.
It's like 11 o'clock at night, but sure.
And bacon. And don't forget the bacon.
So I can have Ethel cook us up something real nice. Hang on a second.
Here?
Oh, that would be great. Let's
Does the stove
get out of this.
Gerald just kind of closes his eyes for a second as he links up with Ethel and has her cook some food.
Oh, it's floating on the little dock that your helicopter's like a whole little outdoor kitchen by the water.
She runs like to the local corner store. Your Ethel runs to the local corner store, grabs some like odds and ends ingredients, flour, milk, eggs, that sort of stuff. Comes
Bacon.
back.
Don't forget the bacon.
Yeah, some.
Dear
some
God, that
bacon.
would be expensive.
Yeah, it's not real. It's not soy. It's not real. It's all soy. Comes back. Managed to find some spelt flour, but that's which is good. And of course, if you, Gerald, had looked around, you'd find there was no anything, utensils, cutlery, anything. So you'd have her pick up some paper plates and stuff, and then like a dollar store frying pan.
I'm going to ascend
toaster.
Bliss when I get a spare minute.
Okay. Do a sensing roll.
I'm just going to check to see, like, what's her general state of health. Because I don't know. She seems a little... She reminds me of me on a bender in a weird kind of way.
Yeah.
She is, right?
Well,
Like, this is her
my
addiction.
character doesn't know
Like,
that.
Yeah.
0 hits.
Nice.
The
She looks-
background radiation from all the screens is like too much. It's too techy. I'm just like, I can't.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even know what I'm looking at because she's resonance and it's just messing with the signal.
Yeah.
Totally fine. Nothing looks any different from any other time you've ever seen her. Oh yeah. Still
I'm
good.
going to make a perception check on her.
Okay.
See if she does look thin. Let me make adjustment here. Greater than 5.
I just stepped outside of that night air that we were talking about. That sounds great.
I got 4 successes. Does she look like she's actually thinning?
No.
To the point of getting sick?
No, actually, if you look at her, if anything, she looks slightly more toned.
Oh,
Ever so slightly.
what have you been doing, girl?
Matrix.
You're looking healthier.
Yeah, I had my hair re-dyed. It's nice and pink again. Other than that,
Hair changes
normal
color often.
romancing, tech romancing, same kind of thing.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. Did my hair grow back?
Did you lose? What was the story?
Shave.
The
Oh,
shave.
yeah, I was going to ask that too. I was going to ask
Right, I
that.
forgot about that.
See all
Yes,
the wires.
Yeah, the hair is kind of like, yeah, it's like a couple
You
inches
said it was
long now.
4 months, right?
Yeah, it's like 3-4 inches long now, maybe. It's not like, yeah, It's kind of where you've had to like do something with it to get it like looking like something.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so you watch the iRobot do some miracles with very cheap ingredients and equipment. And the food it produces is palatable. It smells good too.
This is
So you guys
probably the
kinda
best grub I've had in a while.
There's
Yeah, you know what? I was on the fence before. I'm in now.
Nice.
So, like, if you look kind of behind the monitors, like, you know, around here, you can kind of see there was a couch that kind of is turned backwards towards the wall. You could pull out to sit on. You know, there's some like crates and stuff over here you could pull out to use as something to sit on. There's a desk here if you really wanted to like, you know, eat off of that. You can.
I ideally want to get out of Bliss's and go someplace less technical. It's giving me a headache. It's all good though.
Yeah. I'm with you there. I had to get it fresh earlier.
So you guys eat and then finally convince her, okay, you need to get outside. You guys hang out through the night a bit, swap a couple of, you know, stories, and it's like, okay, we'll go down, we'll have some.
No, it's true. A bird gave me a new voice. Weirdest
Some
thing
beer.
happened in a dream.
Okay, so you guys go down and you're eating and stuff. While you're eating in there and you're kind of like packing everything up, robots cleaning up after you.
Oh god, I want that future.
And the robot, while you're eating, has kind of walked around and picked up some of the garbage off the floor and straightened things out, folded some like underwear in the corner, stuff like that. Yeah, just disappeared into.
This gave me this funny image of like this robot in a corner with underwear, folding it.
It goes into the bathroom, comes out, it smells better in there afterwards. Like, just starts going about doing it, and then
I already
Robot
want
with
this
shits
future.
flowers.
you guys are like just about ready to go out, and Bliss is like, hold on a second. Pulls out her pan and is like, hey, you guys ready? Are you guys willing to meet like pretty much right now? This is Johnton.
I mean, we're here.
Okay,
Yeah, mate.
he's
What's he want?
I don't know. He just kind of sends me a code now when he wants to get together. There's a place that we've agreed on. It's kind of like a little Chinese noodle place, couple of blocks from here.
And does he know we're here?
No, but I can tell him. I did tell him I was going to pull you guys in because that was the request, right?
Okay, yeah, okay.
So I'll tell him you guys are on board. Okay. All right. Well, let's go. So let me find that map.
Question out of character.
Yeah.
The Yakuza. Are they Japanese?
Yeah. Yeah. Triads are Chinese.
When I contacted Bliss, she would have hooked me up with somebody with them, I'm guessing. Instead of Chinese, I would rather have learned Japanese.
Well, you were not.
Sounds like you
That's okay. Is it possible?
I
Yeah.
thought you learned neither. I thought you failed because you were trying to do both.
No,
I
I
thought
did
you were
learn.
learning Japanese, but got confused and thought you were learning Chinese.
Learned
That's what I
Chinese
really
by
thought.
accident. Yeah. That's
I mean,
right.
you said you didn't
Which-
succeed.
Again.
I would rather have gone with the Yakuza family, per se, in that direction, language-wise.
Yeah.
And practice with Ethel.
Oh,
So
what is that?
would it be okay with you that I change from Chinese to Japanese, if that's a choice?
Yeah.
Whatever
That
the-
other stuff is
Okay, that's what I honestly would have wanted.
Yeah, I'm just getting rid of Todd's doodles on this. So is this map showing up for you guys now?
We're seeing a map.
Which
It's a
one?
little alley.
What's
Yeah.
it named?
Yeah, the alley. Okay.
Is that the same place we went to meet him the first time?
No.
No,
Is everybody in there? Who am I missing?
I think I'm not.
I see 3 of us.
It's Arsenio. That's Carl's character.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Get rid of him. Bye.
What's
Okay,
the
I
name of the
do
map?
see 3 there's.
It is
By your GMs, you have to move yourself.
Cyber Alley. Yeah, Cyber Alley.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see it. I'll move it to the end so everybody can find it.
Oh, Bliss and Cat anyway. And I do. Is that
Or I won't,
radio, right?
because it's
Yeah,
being a pain.
you guys were in there.
Where did it go? Anyway, keep going. Don't wait on me.
So, yeah, you guys come down there. You're in an alleyway. It's kind of this like hidden spot. Bliss leads you into a totally unmarked door over here. And whoops, there was Maria. There we go. And then you go up the stairs. She knocks. You guys go in. We're not going to show the inside because it's very secretive.
Yeah.
Nobody can know. And there's like
Gerald's not there, but
crazy
what
old.
this is.
What's that?
Hold on, it's not showing it.
Gerald's there now.
There we go. Everyone's there.
There, Gerald's this.
Put Flurp in there.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we need a rando guy.
This is the mule.
Mule.
Nice.
Oh, Gerald's not actually there. He sends his mule. And they're like, oh,
Yeah, like he is the mule.
Okay,
Nice.
hilarious.
You patched it up.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, so we'll just assume that Gerald looks like that. And then, I can move him. Perfect. There he is. Random guy. Yeah, that's Flirt. His name's Random Guy. Random Guy. So he kind of greets Bliss, and he's like, okay, well, I wasn't sure you guys were going to, how you're going to interpret things, but it is kind of nerve-wracking and assuring at the same time that you showed up here. I assume she's kind of brought you up to speed on what I filled her in on.
Basics, yeah.
I mean, I can say yes, but I guess I don't really know, do I? She could have left something out.
Well, I'll be as straight as I can be. Crandall's a fucking traitor. I don't know how he thinks I don't know that, or the other guys don't know that. But
Maybe they do.
Maybe they do. I don't know. I've had a hard time trying to figure out who else I can trust, and there came a point when I decided it wasn't worth trying to figure that out. The risk was too great, so I decided I had to go outside. And to be honest, you guys weren't the first group. I had to do a job for me to try to, let's say, thwart some of Crandall's attempts to pull this family apart. But you guys were the first ones that
Succeeded.
seemed at least above board. And you succeeded with a reasonable amount of impressiveness, let's say. Thankfully nothing crazy was thrown at you, but enough to see if you got a cool head collectively. But here's where we can get into. We're gonna have to get into some deep waters.
Now, before we dive right into the deep, I do like to know 2 things.
Is there a wading pool?
You're
How
funny.
much are we expected to be able to take in as a retainer? And, we probably want some kind of, like, signal that no one else knows that, like, means we're just totally f***ed. Like an abort
Wow.
code.
I think essentially what we can do is set you guys up with the same sort of situation that Bliss and I have been using over the past month or so. It's just a few codes. Essentially what we've been doing is sending messages that appear as spam advertisements, right? But have within them certain phrases. So she can fill you in on what means what and how to correctly reply in order to send whatever message you want back. Obviously, it's very limited. We're talking stay away, we need to meet, go to ground, safe to come out, all
Right.
those kind of things.
That
But
sounds
that's about
really
it.
good then. I think it's probably good to get some contingencies out the way.
Here's what I'm gonna offer. I'm gonna connect you with work. Like, it's gonna come across like any other work would come to you in a similar way that the previous job did. We're gonna meet. A Johnson will be there. My attempt is going to be to kind of orchestrate things for Crandall himself to have to be there if ever possible. That may not work, but if it works, there's some advantages we might gain there. When the meet's done, you guys are going to do what you did. You're going to head off, you're going to do the job, but before you start it, we're going to meet again, but in secret. And I'm going to tell you what I really need you to do. And that's going to be the way it is. We can negotiate on what that's worth, but essentially what I can pay you on the side for that second meeting is going to be only what I can siphon off without it being noticed.
Of course.
Works for me. It's all on the straight and narrow till it isn't. And we just write it out till we get a... Yeah, no. Checks out. Here's a dumb question. What happens if Crandall dies?
Well, if he dies,
Are
generally,
you fit to be? Is that how that works? Probably not, right? To stop you
no,
from doing
there's,
that. That would be a bad way to set that up, huh?
yeah, there's never a guarantee of who steps into the position, because if we were to say, well, it's one of his crew that gets it, that motivates us to kill him. If it's definitely someone from another crew that kills him, that motivates them to kill him. So it could go either way. It's very random. Often it's someone not associated with a specific crew. There are some guys in that situation who kind of bounce around, but these things don't happen very often. Crandall himself has been in that position for almost 15 years. He's been a
Just a
capo.
thought. I don't really do wet work often anyway, so
Yeah, if you tried
about it.
and succeeded,
Sorry,
now,
Brian.
that would be impressive work. He's not someone who makes himself available to be killed very well ever.
He sleeps, don't he?
Yep.
Right, we'll call that contingency plan C.
Yeah, I would say put that out of your mind
D.
for now.
Gone.
E.
Yeah. There have been attempts on his life, and in the other capos' lives. There have been attempts on Alfonso's and Esquale's lives.
I'm sorry I brought it up.
Yeah. Whenever something like that happens with our family or any of the other families, other people end up dying real soon afterwards.
I mean, that is sort of what we're a little worried about, I suppose.
Well, essentially, keep your nose clean, do your job, and we'll make this work. This isn't something I want to have happen overnight. If we're thinking I'm going to send you on one job that's going to take you a week and we're going to solve this whole issue inside the piano family, you're dreaming. This is a long con, boys and girls. Children of all ages, this is a long con.
Servo noises, motors.
Is that the old guy?
Okay.
The mule nods.
We
like
use him
it.
to
Looks good
make
on you.
espresso. Would you
Well-
like a cup? And I start to bend down between where its junk would be.
The grenade launcher pops out.
Go. Okay, so you guys sit and eat for a bit. He, he orders you up some noodles, which are amazing. It's like a bowl of pho, and you'd swear it's real. And then, you can get some skewers and other odds and ends. The Cantonese noodles are fantastic. It's just like an Asian fusion place, right? And he won't really reveal anything more about, stuff the family has got on the go, because he doesn't necessarily know it all.
And
You get
also,
the
probably
impression-
we
or
shouldn't
maybe if
know
he
all.
does. What's that?
We also probably shouldn't know it all.
Yeah, that's the other thing. He's like, you don't want to know this, and he would say that occasionally when he in the middle of telling you things. And the next bit, you don't really want to know.
It's all good. Understand,
So he
Tell
leaves
us
it
what
like
we
this.
We'll do the
I'm
rest.
gonna-
It's fine.
Yeah, he leaves it like this. I'm going to reach out to you sometime in the next 3 days, 10 days, somewhere in that neighborhood. There'll be a job. We got a couple things in the works. It's just a matter of which one of them I can steer at you guys. And so, until then, don't make any waves, okay?
Copy that.
Hey, you know what they say? We don't exist.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys finish eating up and you go wherever you want to go.
Need a glass of water. That shit was hot.
Well,
So
I'll say
get-
this. The food's better. Getting better and better. Every day.
So about a week later, or so, Bliss has gone back and forth with you to practice. These are all the messages that'll come. She's kind of trained you in how to send and receive, how to interpret and respond to the various codings that they're using with these spam advertisements. And so you get a message that says, time to meet. And then you get another code underneath that stipulates virtual. So
At Grandma's house.
So essentially, they're wanting you to log on whichever way you normally do. And then you get a response from Bliss. She says, all secure. Here's your login. And sends you basically a virtual, a link to a virtual space, and then a login where you can set up an avatar. And so we'll just waive it. You guys figure that out. You log in. You're there. It's a virtual space. Your avatars can look whatever you've programmed them to be.
Oh dang, this is new for me. This is not. I usually just use a screen, and even then, as little as possible.
Yeah, I've got a Trode set on my head. And just kind of relaxing in my somewhat better apartment. And
I'm in my van. It's the only place I got a computer.
yeah, and I'm logged in on the TrodeNet in VR gloves, and just doing my best to do it. I took some of the entry level courses, so I know a little bit.
I imagine I'm basically just like AR VR, if that makes sense, right? It's just like the world is being obscured by like image link contact. Does that check out? Is that
Yeah, like if you don't have a way to essentially go full VR, it would just be AR and a lot of it, right?
And you just look like a wee me.
The best I can get, my avatar is just a me.
Fellatio.
Dang.
I was gonna say
The Weemy. That's awesome.
my guy. It's a basic icon. It's vaguely shaped, kind of like myself, but with like a pencil suit, like super rail thin, with a very narrow tie. I picked that default set, but it's a little more stylish of the default choices, but it's still pretty damn default. I do have a better phone though. I did pick one up at.
Oh, nice. I did not.
I
I
did.
thought about it, but I mean, I guess I could before this meeting if I knew it was coming. I'm with a good phone.
I like the Defender.
So, you guys log in. You come in. Who's in VR? Who's in AR?
VR.
And then so Cat and Radio would probably be VR then. So
AR, yeah.
Or AR, sorry. Yeah. So for those of you in AR, it's kind of like it's 3D, but it's like you can only see it like in front of you essentially, right? For those of you in VR, like it's full surrounding. You're in this blank white void. It's, if you've seen the movie The Matrix, it's exactly the load screen, like
Great.
the construct. You're standing in the construct.
You're talking years ago, for Christ's sake.
I need guns. Lots of guns.
And
I own them, but it's been years since I've seen them.
it's all white as far as you can see. There's no depth. There's no floor. There's no ceiling. It just is. And it's just white. It's like where God talks to Jim Carrey and Bruce Almighty. It's just, there's nothing to be seen there. You kind of wait for a second and Bliss pops in, but it's not Bliss. It's like it is, but it's like you look at her and she looks like
An angel.
She looks white, flowy, dressy situation for a second. Then it's like, my God, is that Elvira? And then it's like Happy Gilmore, the girlfriend's walking up in the lingerie with the two jugs of beer for just a split second.
It's like this
And then
flickering
it's like-
loop of like overlapping.
Yeah, and then it's the woman in the red dress. And then it's Bliss. And then she's like, "Hey guys, good to see you." And then you see
call me.
and then
This
you
is going to be
see-
a common thing. I'm going to need to get something better than this. But if
Says
not,
the
I'm
little
not wasting
round
my time.
wee.
It's just the way. And then you see the purple Teletubby come in,
No, jeez.
Dear God.
standing there. "Hey guys, it's Flair."
Winky Winky? I don't say that.
A purple Teletubby.
"Bliss, are we fully secure?" She says, "Yep, we're good. I
And
own
people
it.
thought
We are
magic
good."
was weird.
Yeah, I've got the sprites, keeping an eye on things, but we are silent. Guys, just so you know, if when you log off of this, there's anything weird on your pan, it was me. But I gotta secure it at your end. Okay, guys, says
Who
Flair.
said that?
Flair.
Bliss?
No,
Flair
Flair.
said that.
All right, listen, we don't have a lot of time. I don't want to take a lot of time. Me being away might get noticed today, but I have a couple of things coming down the pipe. I'm going to direct a couple of them your way. One of them, which I think is going to work the best for us, kind of a combination of things. It's going to take a little bit of coordination. So, essentially, one of the things we do that, I could be proud of or very unproud of, depending on how you want to look at it, is we move people from place to place. And often with those people, we kind of piggyback things with those people. The people we move, I'm not going to talk about that here now. What's being piggybacked in this particular situation is some data. Super important data. The way it's being piggybacked is internally. We can talk about the details as well. Bliss can fill you in on the details about that. I'm sure she kind of gets the clue. But we have a very small window where the, let's just say, unknowing, unwilling couriers of this data are going to be available for you to get at. When that window is, I don't know yet. I kind of have a broader window of where the narrow window is going to be. I need to hit you on the narrow window. So what I'm going to do is fill you in on what the broad window of time is, and then make sure you're ready to pounce when that narrow window arrives. What you're going to end up having to do is a bit of an abduction, a data extraction, and then like catch and release, let that fish back into the pond, so to speak, with whatever alternate data you think is gonna, well, I don't know what we're gonna do there. I'm still trying to decide that, whether it's got to be alternate data or whether you're just gonna do a copy. It might be a bit of an edit. We're not sure. We still have to kind of decide that. But this is the job.
All right.
Where I usually fish, catch and release is considered inhumane.
Well, you usually let fish.
that.
Most things are inhumane.
Well, we can't all be humane all the time.
It's okay. It's overrated.
As long as it's not wolves.
No, it's people. It's definitely people.
Soylent Green.
Here's the thing, though. You boys and girls, you're gonna see some shit on this job.
Oh, so take a roll of toilet paper with us. Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be disturbing. And the one thing that you're gonna have to make sure you can handle, keeping your mouth shut about what you see to anyone other than who's in this virtual room right here, right now. It's gonna be disturbing. But this is part of what this family does. It's disturbing, but it makes us a lot of money. And it ain't stopping anytime soon. Can anybody and everybody handle that?
Yep.
Mum's the word.
We don't exist.
No problem.
So, I'm gonna front you some money, but it's gotta be earmarked for a very, very specific purpose. I would supply you with what I'm gonna go tell you to buy myself, but that's too traceable. You're gonna need to acquire these goods on your own, and ideally not from within Seattle. You are all going to need to upgrade your pan to the highest thing you can possibly find. And between the 5 of you, I'm going to I'm going to want change on this, potentially. Essentially what's left over from this, it's going to, we're going to balance this out on the pay on the back end, right?
Yeah, as long as that's not coming from my wallet,
yeah.
choose whatever tech you need.
I don't even have a pan.
I'm gonna front you 100,000 for the 5 of you, but you're gonna spend that on pan, because if you don't, and I'm telling you, don't spend this on bullshit. If you don't, this ain't gonna work. Between the 5 of you, you get the best thing you can possibly get for each of you. And I don't want to know where you got it, and I don't want to know who you got it from. It can't be connected to this family. All of a sudden, 5 things of that quality. Yeah. All right. Once that has been done and you have pans and you have submitted them to Bliss to be upgraded with security that is, let's just say, out of this freaking world, then and only then will I give you the rest of the details.
Cool. Can we do that as a montage? Like, as you've been describing, we're like going into fancy stores, buying all that stuff. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we pass it to Bliss, and she like kisses it for a while.
So I figured it would be like a whole like job, you know, like.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can.
High
do that,
availability stuff is not easy to get.
Yeah. Well, that's so essentially this is where we're going to leave it. We're going to leave it here with our intrepid heroes being thrown a little bit into the deep end. You're going to go shopping. We're going to look into the craziest shit that
Now, to be clear, you're talking a pan, like a regular, like a comm link, not a cyber deck.
No. I think he's talking like a
Fancy
cooking pan.
Frying
that would
pan.
Lagostina.
we're talking the comm link because that's the base unit. But obviously, if there's accessories that can go with it,
I mean, the cheapest cyber deck is 50,000. So
Yeah.
like, we're clearly not buying 5 of those, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
no. But
But
he's
yeah, the most expensive comm link on here is 8,000. That's as long as we can source them,
yeah.
good to go.
Yeah,
So we're gonna include though the cost of like
Upgrades.
the high end software programming, all that sort of stuff, right? Because there's a cost to all of that. So he'll go on and say a little bit more like it's got to be like secure. It's got to be like a Fort Knox in your hand kind of thing, because the information that's going to be going back and forth between us from now on needs to be secure.
Hey,
Plus,
GM, am I able to get it as an implant in my cyber arm? It's an extra $2,000.
yeah,
Awesome.
Sure.
Doing that.
I don't know about the wisdom of that, but maybe you may.
I mean,
want
you
to throw
can
this thing away at some point.
you can disconnect it. Like, it's built that
Yeah,
way.
okay.
You can like open
Okay.
this part, put your phone in, lock it in, and then just use it.
Yeah, where are the upgrades in here?
Right, so he'll disconnect and he's gone at that point. And you guys are still virtually there. So if anybody has any contacts that would be a good lead for where to go actually buy that kind of crap.
My
Hey,
computer contact is Bliss.
Yeah, same.
I don't even have a pan.
You
Well,
probably do.
you can also now, all of you can add Flirp Jompton as a contact, a Mafia contact. and he's
Mafia
a
fixer.
2/2. Mafia fixer. He's a 2/2 for everybody.
2-2.
Yeah. He's a 2/2.
He's a
I
tutu.
wrote him down.
Actually, sorry, his connection rating's a 3. His loyalty to you is a 2.
So he's a 3-2.
Yeah.
He's a fixer.
Yeah. Well, to you, he's a fixer.
I'm sure this has been said before, but is flirt with a U or an E?
Oh, with a U.
Yeah, I spelled it with a U, but and I'm sure it's been
I've
in
had
like,
it wrong
Discord and
this whole
stuff
time.
before. But I was curious.
Yeah.
Great.
Section
Alright.
2, loyalty 3.
Sorry, I'm looking at people's contacts here. No.
Well, I do know a Terrence. Was it Terrence? Dang, I forgot already. Set me up with some new
Terrence,
tech. might have something else.
He could put you on to somebody that you could check out. I don't have Bliss's contacts. Oh my gosh, no one's got any contacts. So you guys are gonna have to do some rolling to find contacts. This is gonna take a while.
I'm actually gonna call. I know a news reporter, and I'm gonna ask her, like, because I'll do it all casual, like, if you're doing like a story in a foreign, extraterritorial place, and you don't want like them getting easy access to your stuff, like, what brand do you recommend? Do you have any like tips or somebody you'd be able to like hook me up with a good secure phone for like contacting if you ever have stuff you want to keep on the down low? Her name is Sarah.
Yeah, her name, eh? Okay.
Channel 89.
Nice. So she is like, yeah, well, what we work with from the channel is all supplied, but I can tell you.
No, we're talking like off the books, sir.
Well, that's what I was going to tell you. So there's an old colleague of mine whose name is Amanda, who now works for International Geographic, and she did this series a couple of years ago where she essentially would interview various criminal organizations without revealing their identity. It was kind of like
really dangerous. So go on.
Yeah, super dangerous. She managed to survive the whole thing without getting murdered or abducted. But, she would do little pieces on small gang here, small gang there. There would be traffickers, dealers, various... The kind of stuff that you can put on TV, right? And so there was an episode of that where she interviewed a hacker collective, and basically they did a little bit of talking about the fact that they get their equipment. I mean, you can see the whole series. It's online, right? So they talked about where they get their equipment. Now, all of the it was obviously censored, the actual names and places and contacts, but she heard it.
All right, I'll ask for any kind of like intros or any way I might get in touch with that.
So just roll me your what are we rolling here?
Influence, etiquette, negotiation. Etiquette.
No, it's so your etiquette plus her connection and loyalty rating.
Okay. So she's 3-3. Like, we go back a ways.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll add 6 to this after. And I'm going to edge this. I hope I got that in before I said that. Is that cool?
It's okay, I'll let you do that.
I didn't see before that. So I need 6 more and then another, what's my edge rating? 3? I think that's 9 more. Sorry, one sec. I just program this in. And these should explode. Alright, so from my original, I got 2 hits. And then after that, it was 6 more hits. And actually, it didn't re-roll those 6s, so I have to roll 3 more. Am I reading that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's up to 8 and 9, 10, and I get to roll 1 more.
Okay.
10 hits in total.
So
I meet at a bar. I smooth talk.
you get this. You smooth talk it so much with Sarah Jones that she decides.
We had a history a bit too, so
yeah.
Or at
she
least
decides,
my guy
we
wanted
haven't been
it
for
too.
drinks in a while, and I haven't talked to Amanda in a while. So you know what? I am going to meet her for drinks and drag you along and introduce you.
Cue the greatest night of my life. Sorry. Stay on target. Stay on target.
Okay.
So yeah, you guys meet like the next night, and it's at a nice kind of place. So she introduces you. Amanda's a bit older, kind of like dirty blonde hair, well put together, very professional looking.
Sorry, is this the hacker contact or this is the other reporter?
This is the other reporter.
Okay, so I talked to the other reporter.
She, Sarah introduces you and says, "This is my friend, Mac. He's really interested in that piece you did on the Hacker Collective."
Yeah, I absolutely love your work.
Well, it was an interesting experience. I'll tell you that. Like any of the pieces in that whole series, one has to be tight-lipped after the fact.
Oh, I understand. You gotta have real good discretion for these kinds of things. Cheers.
Yeah, she takes another drink.
Anyway, we don't have to
made you so-
RP all this unless you want to.
Yeah, so
It's getting
essentially
late.
she kind of goes on, she kind of like asks you like what makes you so interested. You go back and forth for a bit. And eventually she says, "Look, I can point you to these guys because a few people can point you to these guys, but it's like a do it at your own risk situation."
I like risk.
What she could not directly connect you with was the contact, like where the hackers got their stuff, because they essentially got supplies and built their own pans, right?
Yeah, but maybe
she
I can
could-
get a name of one of them and find my way through.
That she could essentially put you in touch with them because she found them somehow, right?
Yeah.
So she gives you a contact. You connect with them. Now, do you want to try and connect with them directly, or do you want to bring in like?
I'll bring in Bliss along with me to help me out with that. I'm gonna make people meet, and then I'll just act as wingman for Bliss and like smooth things over. She's not here, so we don't need to do all that. But
Yeah, essentially, I'll waive it because she can do it, especially with how she initiated. She can do it, and
Merged.
yeah,
I'm actually really getting a hang of this Matrix thing and enjoying it more and more because I'm pretty logic based, so it does come to me. So I'm enjoying this experience, and it's just banking a little bit of thoughts. I might actually get an upgrade of my own at some point.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
yeah, we basic like hacker contact.
Yeah. Yeah, so you got a 1-1 hacker contact out of it. And you also have another 1-1 freelance reporter contact out of it.
Okay.
Named Amanda something. And so yeah, you connect up with those guys and they're like, "Yeah, here's our..." They're kind of happy to tell you who the supplier is because apparently they have like a promotional deal with them. So
Everything's Razor. I don't know why.
yeah. But yeah, it's like a guy.
Logitech. Ugh.
Yeah. It's called Microvision's
POIs.
Computers. Microvision's Computers, and it's on Yonge Street.
All
Owner's
right.
name is Rob.
Owner's name is Rob. Very clearly has like a semi mullet with like really cheaply done plugs.
And is drunk all the time.
He's just slightly drunk all the time, and when you go into his shop, like, smells like. At one point in his life, he smoked way too much, but stopped but it's still there, and you can tell where he moves around the place because like some of it is really dusty, and like the chair and the keyboard is not. Like no one's ever clean. The only things that aren't dusty are the stuff that he just touches all the time. And
just as an aside for the others listening here, Steve is describing a real place and a real person
this is,
that I worked for.
No, this is
We
all
both worked for.
any similarities are purely fictional.
No, that's easy to.
I feel called out, okay? No one even said anything about me.
So you guys, you go into the shop and he's like, we'll not meet you virtually. It has to be done in person. And
It's not the same if you can't smell it.
There are cyber decks that are like sitting around. There are components that you're like, how old is that? Like thick layers of dust on. There are cyber decks that are like Matrix 1.0. And you're like,
also bleeding edge tech sitting right beside it.
Yeah.
Classic.
Bleeding edge tech right beside it. There's stuff there. And like there's this young kid in the back just kind of fixing someone's computer, and you look at it and there's like a bunch of porn images, and they're kind of just like dragging files from one folder into another, and you like if you notice the heading is like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. You see him drag an image and he kind of like hesitates. That's an 8. You're like, okay, all right, yeah, Rob, we were, hey, what can
Also
I do for
something
you?
that happened.
my name's Rob. Yeah, what can I do for
who
you?
else here, or is it all of us?
We build all the things. Tridio, we got
is-
these sweet Tridio systems now.
Nice. Who's all here?
Whoever wants to be.
Everyone.
Radio isn't. I think
I
he
guess
has a
we'll
different
bring
idea of how she might go about doing this, and is busy wasting her time somewhere else.
All right.
Doesn't seem
Okay.
like it's not necessary.
Yeah. I'll assist somebody who's more techie than me. So, Gerald, I think you're up.
All right, the mage and the old dude.
Oh, this place is pretty amazing. You got a lot of good old stuff here. I remember when that came out.
Yeah. And you remember, like,
Is this an original?
this is, hey, careful, that's Renreku. Those guys
Yeah.
don't even make stuff anymore.
Don't.
Give you $5 for it.
Dude, it's worth way more than that. You know that.
Yeah, okay, 10.
No.
No, all right, fine. He puts it down.
How much is that in New Yen?
He doesn't even know. He's like, whatever you do, don't go across the road and get cash out of that machine. Okay, so yeah, you're looking for comlink situation upgrade. Are we doing a trade-in? Are we doing an upgrade? Are we doing something new out of the box? What's going on?
Yeah, what's the best comlink you got?
Well, we have the best.
Okay, I'll take that.
Someone refresh my memory on what I don't have Hero Lab open right now.
How about a Fairlight Caliban or the Fuji Cyber X7?
So
Fuji CyberX is probably the one to go.
listen, you can do it a number of ways.
Basically
Okay?
the same stat-wise.
Yeah.
You
Not
got
on Facebook, so I don't know.
you got your Fairlight, you got your Fuji. Okay, now
Pulse Wave is not bad.
I'll make you a deal. Okay, I'll make you a deal. How many are you looking for altogether?
5.
Yeah, we can do 5.
It's
We
for a
can do
Christmas raffle.
5. It's gonna take a little bit of time.
It's like
to get them
July.
together. Gonna take a little time to get them together. But if you if you
You soup it up too with extra security and all sorts of fancy stuff.
Yeah,
deletewing.com, man, we can do that. So
it's for Christmas.
Put
Raffle.
NordVPN on there.
If you let me put my sticker on it, I'll give you a little discount. Now, here's the thing. I gotta just pull some parts of this, pull some parts of that. We'll put it together, custom made. You can pick your own case. Bam, it's yours. But
I'm
85
gonna pay you a little
a piece.
right. I'm gonna pay you a little extra, Rob, to not put your sticker on it. Is that all right? Suddenly I'm Scottish.
Can
I
I
don't
put
know.
it on inside?
Suddenly, yeah.
Okay, he's like, all right, okay, fine. You don't want the sticker. Oh man, I pay a lot for these stickers.
I'll
maybe-
take the discount. Can I have his discount? You can put two stickers on one.
You know what? Yep, we can do that. 2 stickers on that one, none on that one. Sure, we'll call it even. We'll call it even. So you guys, he talks about some little accessories, tries to sell you like an actual USB
I try to
cable.
get the one that will fit in the cyber arm attachment.
Oh yeah, he can modify it for that.
Yeah. So I'll pay the extra $2,000.
Yeah. Oh, he's totally happy to do that. And so you
But I
get
want to
it,
be
and-
able to detach it. I know enough how to take it out myself as well.
So you pay him, you come back like 3 days later. He's got everything put together. It's like, you pick it up, and on your first boot up, it's like got a custom Microvision's desktop. The colors of everything are changed to like some weird scheme that you're like, oh my god, who would pick those colors to go together like that? That makes no sense. Oh, and yeah, if you look on the internal memory, there's a lot of porn.
Bliss, can you take care of that?
Yeah, that's the kind of upgrades I was looking for.
I want this clean, Bliss. Like, just clean it.
Just move it onto mine.
Just put it over there.
I want 2 copies of everything.
So that's it, Gerald. Like literally, you all have the same files, and he just has 2 copies of it, and it's like an astronomical amount. You're like, who would do that? It's like still pictures mostly, and like it's
This
it's
480p.
and
Well,
it's
you can understand, Gerald hasn't seen that kind of stuff in a long time, and that's
Yeah.
what he grew up on. So, this is nostalgia for him.
and it's
Right,
it's-
yeah.
Some of
Like a
it's
1950s pinup.
No, some of it is more than 100 years old by this point. You get the impression.
Grandma?
Yes.
Okay, so you guys have your pans, and you're out of there. And ladies and gentlemen, that's where we're gonna stop.
All right.
Oh, Rob.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you,
So
Steve.
Steve,
That
like-
was lots of fun. Different experience. It's kind of
We
fun
gotta
to
breathe.
dive into the character and the grind a little bit.
Yeah, we got to bridge the gap a little bit. So essentially, when we pick up in the fall, you guys are going to be in the thick of it on this job, whatever it turns out to be.
You're in the mafia now, boys.
Was this final session? I thought that was next week.
No, well,
No,
D&D
next
is
This week,
next week is the last D&D, but this is the last Shadowrun for a while. Thursdays.
Wow.
That marks
Very
the beginning
good.
of our summer hiatus, and we'll pick this back up in hopefully October, but maybe a one-off or two-off, or something along the way. But I know I'm traveling. I know Steve's moving about a bit. So unfortunately, that's it for the next little while. But it's been lots
Very
of fun,
cool, very cool.
and it's
Yeah.
been nice to take a deep dive into the seedy underbelly. Dude, Steve, that was some really fun character choices that you were making there. Like just wacky, like the nurse and the experience of a cyber clinic where you're literally flaying your nervous system, but it smells like mint in the office, so it's okay. That was
Just having these discrete scenes instead of just the sort of long stretched out stuff that you tend to see, where
Can I,
moment to moment.
Todd, are we live still?
Yeah, we are.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Can I share a screen without you putting it on the stream? Is that a thing?
Yeah, we can. I can also just do this. Ready? Hi, internet.
Oh my god, you found him.
Look.
My god.
Okay.
That's the guy.
I mean, I guess.
We'll be right back. Nostalgia. Oh my god. Hey.
Intentional shopping episode, which you don't see very often in games.
Yeah.
Usually that happens on accident.
Yeah, exactly.
But also, like, I didn't realize, like, if I was like, hey, come to the table expecting to go shopping, I think I would have planned differently. All of my upgrades were just like, yeah, I bought a bunch of skills that I probably should have just already had, and I just like didn't have the point in character creation. It's like nothing interesting to talk about. I have one in computer now. Like,
yeah, my guy was so poor. I'm buying basic gear that like he should have had at the beginning of the Shadowrun career, but like just got through the first one to be able to afford. So,
I did want to have like a lakeside scene because that's been in my head like the entire time this character's existed.
Nice.
Like, I don't know. I just want to like. Actually, since we are streaming still, and I sort of said this on break, I did want to mention how like going to the lake and yes, she explores that and dives down and finds like sort of weird glow city spelunking stuff, but also it's like a weirdly like spiritual experience for her because it's where she feels closest to her spirit mentor of the sea.
Nice. I actually dig that, and I think that's what Mac or Cam, I might actually switch it, but I think that's what he actually picked up on and enjoyed about that exchange.
Yeah, I was gonna like if we cut back to that scene, I was going to have sort of like you see the like water parting for her to like swim more swiftly and stuff because like the sea gives you bonus to swimming, which is like I'm never gonna use that, but I have it.
Glow swimming,
yeah.
All right, so we do. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, and that's kind of what I want to do a little bit of. That was part of the intent here was to spend, it's like a half an episode shopping and half an episode getting back together. Mm-hmm. Because I think the chance for characters to talk to each other is so often just skipped over. And in any role-playing session or any role-playing campaign, it's like the players just play and the characters are just like on the mission and never actually talk to each other. Yep. But the players sort of start to play them as if they've bonded, but it's like I would love to see that bonding,
Yeah, that's a good call.
I super agree. Yeah. I kept wanting I remember like during the previous sessions I was like I want to have a scene where it's like Mac and Radio are on the bus together because they're the only one without wheels,
right?
And they're like going home. And it's just like,
oh, you're going out to Redmond.
Like,
I'm going to Glow City.
That happens.
Well,
is there a scene there, or is it just something that happens, right? Like,
I'm thinking that since you love swimming so much, like, I have a submarine now.
You do, yeah. We were both talking about water things, and it didn't ever like come together on those topics.
Well, see, this is what I want the guys to hang on to.
Yeah.
Like, hang on to this because we can pick this up. Like, it's going to be 3-4 months for us in real time. So
we'll all rewatch this episode beforehand and just be like, hey.
Well, it's interesting. It goes both ways, right? When you're in the mission, you're like, I'm doing the job. I don't have time to hang out. But then there's these like downtime sections where it's like, okay, I have an idea of what's something that maybe that's what's going to happen. And then it's like 3 weeks later and you're like, oh, guess that didn't happen. Cool. But don't worry about it. And like, I could be like, hey, can I have a scene? And you'd be like, totally, let's have that scene. But I feel like I'm slowing things down, so I don't want to. And it's like, I don't even know what's going to happen in that scene. Just like, we talk. And like, it's like, all right, cool. And like, yeah, I want that, but also I don't know what it would contain, Anyway, no.
Only one way to find out?
Only one way to find out.
Deep dive.
Also, I think, I won't tell you when, but I have kind of an idea of if Gerald doesn't get killed through the game, I have a plan for him to die naturally. But
Are you a
won't share that
ticking
just yet.
clock?
I almost made a joke about, wait, how long of a long con is this? Because Gerald doesn't have that much time left. And I was like, would Radio have made that joke? Probably not. So I didn't.
I think Bliss would have made that joke.
Somebody should have.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's been 4 months. That's a long time for, like, an 80-something-year-old dude.
It doesn't.
Yeah, but, you know, in the future, medicine is pretty good.
It's true.
Yeah, but
Assuming
he
we
doesn't.
can afford
He
it.
doesn't take that shit.
Right, yeah. Anti-vaxxer again.
Oh, no. All right. So we do need a title for tonight's episode, though. So internet or other players?
Oh, I like when Gerald met Sally, but I think it should be when Gerry met Sally. With a G, when Gerry met Sally.
Yeah, I like that one. I typed that in actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I saw that. I like that.
And shout out to Cortez and
How
everybody
not
else.
to go shopping.
Sorry, what was that?
How not to go shopping.
How not to shop when Gerry met Sally.
Yeah, actually, the shopping worked out pretty well.
All right.
It did, yeah. It was really cool. Like, it's a cool way of going. You've already bought everything. Let's play the scene out now afterwards, right? Or like, let's fill in what that space would look like. It's pretty cool.
How much change
I like
did
that a
Flirt?
lot.
How much change did Flirt get back?
Oh, we'll figure that out later.
Probably like 50,000.
I mean, yeah, we'll have the gear that we need to have had.
Yeah.
Good
Nice.
night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Have a wonderful night. We will see you next week for D&D. And yeah, that's it. It's bedtime. Good night. Take care. And shout out to Rob, who may or may not exist.
Stop this gravity, it keeps bringing me down. I can't breathe and I don't wanna die. Stop this gravity, 'cause I don't wanna say goodbye. Gravity.